5 seconds remaining.
Flash is coming up at the top of the staircase. There's an easy kill for Hyper in a second and a third. Dark Zero in full control. A triple for Quick Surf, and there's the quad. eUnited.
Great teamwork. Soniqs take the lead again.
Disrupt the best of the best.
His teammate's gone, and what's this? He's got a Nitro Cell as well.
TSM.
Tempo Storm absolutely storms through this matchup. Oxygen takes the series.
Space Station Gaming are your world champions.
Welcome to day 3 of stage 2 of the Rainbow Six Siege US division. We have some awesome matches ahead of us following exceptional competition last week. I'm Jackie Jing, and I'm with my lovely analysts, Jesse and Valley. Gentlemen, how are you feeling on this Monday? Hi.
She didn't say names, but I'm gonna let you go first, Jesse.
All right,
Okay,
I'm feeling
Jesse, go
good.
first.
Yeah, we've got some more matches. We've already seen these teams for one match. So we got a taste of what everybody's sort of made up of and what the changes have been. So I'm excited to see how teams have grown.
I feel like,
Valley?
yeah, I feel like today is the day of redemption. We have so many teams here that are trying to prove themselves. Some of them showing that they don't belong at the bottom of the totem pole, and they made team changes to try to prove that. So I can't wait to see the matchups.
Yeah, we definitely have lots of action ahead of us. Let's pull up that schedule and break everything down for y'all. We got eUnited versus the Soniqs. Very excited about that one. eUnited looked real sharp last week, and that is followed by OXG versus Disrupt. But before we get into that and break down everything for y'all, we have a quick word from our sponsor. And we are back. So, Jesse, you know, all this stuff, it can be a little bit confusing for folks. So why don't you make this a little bit more digestible, break down everything that we need to know about the points and prize system.
Absolutely, Jackie. So there's a lot that these teams are playing for. As you mentioned, points, prizes, we've got it all here. You can see the prize money up on your screen now. $15,000 for coming in first place, followed by $8K for second, and it goes down $1K at a time until you get to that 8th place, making $2,000. Still a pretty penny. They've got the points, and these are obviously to make it that 6th Invitational. The top 16 teams worldwide with the most points are going to go to the biggest event in the world. So you definitely want to get as many points as you can. 5th through 8th are locked in with 225, 180, 140, and 115. And then the top 4 will get extra points on top of that 225 at the major when they go and compete there.
Points, prizes, pride, and glory, gentlemen. So much on the line. But really quickly, we want to pull up the bracket, break down everything that we've seen in stage 2 so far. Again, last week was super exciting. So let's start off with Group A. And Dark Zero, they came back and they were ready to go, all right? They defeated the Soniqs, and then SSG. They took down eUnited, but as we were saying at the top of the show, that was actually a lot closer than we anticipated.
Yeah.
And yep. And then today, the losers of those matches, they face off. And then Wednesday, huge matchup, DZ versus SSG. Super excited about that as well. Now, let's move on to Group B.
Yes.
What does B stand for? Baddies? I don't know. Anyway, Tempo beat OXG and Disrupt lost to TSM. The losers of those matches, they will play each other later today. And then on Wednesday, Tempo will actually be playing TSM, and that's another big one that we're looking forward to. But let's get back to the Group A matchup that is about to go down. And gentlemen, we're going to start off with the Soniqs. So, Little breakdown here. They did well at the NA qualifier, but DZ dominated them last week, and I was kind of hoping they were going to get revenge from the qualifier, but it didn't end up like that. They want to be taken seriously in the U.S. division, Veli. I feel like it's now or never. This is their time to shine today.
Yeah, I believe that if you put yourself in the Sonic shoes, losing to eUnited, I mean, despite them being drastically better right now than they were back in Stage 1, Sonics can't afford to lose to eUnited. We saw their matchup against Dark Zero where Slevin and Gonfi, they started off so slow, and it didn't look like the Sonics that we all grew to love throughout Stage 1. You have the Rookie and Iconic, you have Super, easily as a god. The Europeans always show out. We just need them to actually do well today. I personally don't think last week what we saw is what they're all about. So I expect them to just come out swinging.
Yeah, I mean, Jesse, we've seen flashes of glory from this team.
Yeah.
They keep saying that they're a top contender in the U.S. division. So I want to pick your big brain here. Why do they keep falling short then?
I don't know. I think it's different things each time, right? Last week, I think drones were a big issue for them. They were losing a lot. You get to like a minute in the round, and they'd have one alive out of 10. There were some issues with droning. Obviously, Gonfi did not have a great game. You know, last season he had a respectable .72 KPR. He was averaging positive plus minus, but then we saw, last week he had .29 KPR and he went -11 on the match. So really underperformed what we know he can play as. That obviously hurt them quite a bit. I did get to chat a little bit with Joe Bro, the coach of the Sonics, and he talked about how they did get in a pretty constructive talk after that game had happened. He talked about how they addressed some issues. They think they're going to show up a lot better today than they did in that first play day. So I'm expecting different play styles and a little bit better of a result for the Sonics today.
Well, let's see if they made some fixes and if they're going to show up and turn up. But let's talk about their opponent, eUnited. So, I mean, we've been saying this a few times now. eUnited played very well against SSG. It was a close 2-0 loss. We were all impressed with the improvements that they've made and the instant chemistry with the new roster. Veli, can this team beat the Sonics, though? I'm not going to lie. It seems like a strong possibility.
I mean, yeah, they looked a lot better last time, right? But we can't rate their game against Space Station last week because if we all remember, eUnited lost by 3 total rounds and 2 maps total against Space Station Gaming in Stage 1. So they have a good matchup there. But eUnited, they have more of a solid foundation when it comes to their strategy and playstyle. But this is what I'm scared of. With that foundation, they're starting to play textbook gameplay. We see it in their plays. We see it in their planning. Things with Susquehanna Sonics, unlike Space Station Gaming, is that they have this unpredictable aggression that you cannot account for. One game, they might have a super great setup. The next one, they might just run right through your face again to the bomb site. You never know what they're going to throw at you. And I don't know if eUnited are going to be ready for that. This is basically a new team.
And we're taking a live look right now at their gaming room. Alfalma looks
Chilling.
Really thrilled. Yeah, exactly. I think that's Yeti. I don't know if he's like texting or about to take a nap or something. But they're obviously very hyped for this matchup. But Jesse, let me talk to you a little bit. Rexon and Kansan, they immediately made an impact during their debut last week. This team's also made a lot of playstyle changes. What have you seen from eUnited in Stage 2 that you've liked, that you're like, okay, this is working for them?
I mean, I talked to the team before their first matchup, and they explained it to me, and I saw it. If they're changing their playstyle to be more in line with every other team, right? First stage, we saw them jumping out a lot. They played almost a different strategy every single week. They were getting really aggressive, really crazy, and it obviously didn't work. There were ideas that were being tossed in that just didn't land, they didn't stick. And so this time they come into Stage 2 with a lot more composure, they look a lot more structured, and I think that's showing. They've still got that style, right? They're still throwing in aggression every now and again. They're not totally giving up on who they were, but it's working a lot better this time because they're more playing like everybody else, right? So eUnited's playstyle in general is really improved, I'd say, coming into Stage 2.
Okay, and gentlemen, this just coming in, we are ready to move into the map selection process. So we're going to bring that information up on your screen right now. And our lovely analysts, Jesse and Veli, are going to break down what we see for map vetoes. So I'll let you all take it away here.
All right, so we got Theme Park and Coastline out. Oregon being chosen by the Sonics. That's a pretty good map overall. It was tied for the most played in Stage number 1. They did beat eUnited here in Phase 2. It was a 7-3, so pretty dominant showing. Then we get Consulate from eUnited. This is kind of a cool one. They didn't play it at all in Stage 1, but they picked it in the last series, and now they're picking it here as well. So they clearly have brought this up into their game in the offseason, and they looked really good against Space Station. So I'm hyped for it, but it is a strong map for the Soniqs. Then Villa getting through as a decider, that's really shocking to me because this was Sonic's best map in Stage 1. They played it at every series in the qualifier and won it every single time. eUnited have not won this map since they were known as Obey back in Challenger League Season 10,
Dang.
which was hardly the roster at all. Only Grixer was on that team. So, wow, this is a bold map to go through. I'm shocked eUnited let this get through.
All right. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. But let's talk about talent predictions. And I'm going to start off with Veli. I'm going to put you in the hot seat first.
All right,
Who's
so
winning?
You see the maps underneath this, right? I don't know why they put Villa as the third map because it's not even going to go that far. Look at that Constant in Oregon. I like eUnited, okay? But I'm going with Soniqs for the 2-0.
Okay. Wow. All right. Veli saying this is going to be done in 2. Jesse, what are you thinking?
I mean, I agree. The maps look pretty good for Soniqs. They should be comfortable in all 3 of these, whereas eUnited, there's a lot more question marks. But I got faith. I mean, if we look at just week 1, eUnited performed better in their matchup than Soniqs performed in theirs. So I'm a little bit worried that Soniqs might not be as clean or as polished as they were back in Stage 1.
Yeah.
Obviously, in the past, we've seen Soniqs be the better team. But based on what I saw last week, based on the performance from each team and the recent data that we have, I got to go with eUnited. I've got to imagine they didn't just throw this map ban phase. I'm going to pick them to win. I think they're really looking sharp with this new lineup, with their new strats they're bringing out. I really like EU. I'm going to pick them to win this game.
I'm going to be completely honest for a second, Jackie. I think eUnited actually has a really good chance at winning this game, but it's all going to come down, in my opinion, we got to see Kansan have the same type of performance, but also I'm going to want either Rexon or Yeti to take over. If one of those players can just take over, I think that could offset especially the aggression that you're going to have going against the likes of Iconic and everyone else on the Soniqs, because you really need just that tank in front to slow them down.
I'm not going to lie, gentlemen. You both I thought that Veli was going to go with eUnited and that Jesse was going to go with Soniqs, but all right. I guess Veli's playing it safe and Jesse's being a little bit risky today, but I like the choices, gentlemen. Okay, for all of you at home, if you don't already, please go follow us on social media, okay? We always have information coming down, like when we're playing, funny videos of Veli almost getting hit by a light, Jesse talking to a flip-flop. So please go follow us on social media. And coming up, we have so much fun ahead. Obviously, this awesome matchup, but please participate in our community poll. And I know you all are ready for them. Kix and Intero, they're coming up next. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this break. See you soon.
There's been a huge shift in team dynamic since Stage 1. It's a completely different new roster.
Adding Kansan to the team was the fresh blood we needed to build a new roster, a new core, a new project.
I've been playing R6 for around 4 years. As an inexperienced player, I believe I belong on this roster because I bring a lot of talent and new ideas to the team.
I have someone with a lot of potential. We can mold him into what we want. We're really helpful for the next stage coming.
We had a really unorthodox playstyle in Stage 1, even in the season before. Moving forward, we're playing a more traditional style of Cs, around more structure, around more team play and coordination.
There is no correct way of playing the game, but there's definitely a more traditional way of playing the game, and that's what we're working to achieve.
The team I'm looking forward to most is Soniqs. They're definitely a better team than what they've ever been in that organization. They're feeling hot. They had a pretty good first split. We definitely can perform to a higher standard, so I definitely want to beat them.
I like to challenge the best team of the regions. It's a good way to show what you can do and that you're not only an underdog.
This team's way more confident, we're way more skilled, and we're doing what we believe is the right steps to get better as a team. And as individuals on the team, there's a lot more camaraderie. You just got to keep like working to be the top.
We don't want to hold you from the game, everybody. Hope you're doing well. I'm Intero. I'm joined by Kickstar, and we have a very nice matchup between the Soniqs and eUnited up in just a moment. Michael, the analysts took us through the map ban phase with the 3 maps now known. Is there anything that we should be anticipating? And do you agree with Veli that we're not going to make it to map 3?
No. I think with this matchup, I suspect we'll probably make it to map number 3. I mean, there's no certainty in this, to be sure, and we've been surprised so many times through this stage. So, who really knows? But no, I'd venture a map 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about you, Parker?
We'll take that, Veli. Who's the analyst now? Veli.
No, I mean, what do you think,
Nope,
Parker?
you caused drama. That's what happens.
Gosh. Oh my god, beef has been born this day.
Here's what I know.
What's that?
Okay. Both of these teams are better than where they were at this point previously a couple months ago.
Yes.
All right. The eUnited that we saw put up quite a fight against Space Station Gaming, and that's actually a pivot for our question today, which is, will eUnited take a map off the Soniqs after putting up a spirited fight against Space Station Gaming? And if for those that will recall on our match last week, it was almost a third map between eUnited and Space Station. eUnited almost took Clubhouse, aka Dubhouse, aka one of Space Station's best maps, away from them. Obviously, SSG won that 8-7, but it still was really close. Here's what I think about last week, Michael, and you can feel free to disagree with me if you feel it.
Go ahead.
I think the Soniqs are a much better team than what showed up last week. I think it was a combination of things. One, I think the team was completely asleep for map number 1. I think they woke up on map number 2, but it was a little too late. You know, the coastline was a write-off, especially the first couple rounds. Cafe, they showed signs of life. But Gomfi and Sleben never really did find the scoreboard. It was Easily and Super who seemed to be leading the way on that team, which is not how it should be given the star power that the Soniqs have. Additionally, I think eUnited showed that they played to the meta very well. No more wonky pocket strats that obviously didn't do that well for them previously. And I think eUnited obviously have a lot more potential. They came really close to beating SSG, and we talked about this a couple rounds. eUnited could have very easily won that 2-0. So I do think we're going to see a map 3. So take that, Veli, Mr. Analyst. I think we're going to see a map 3, Michael, but I don't know how close the individual maps will be, but I think the series will be close.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons why a lot of people maybe are dogging on Soniqs a little bit much is because, of course, what happened in the match versus Dark Zero. And yeah, it was pretty one-sided in some of those rounds. But I'll also say I don't necessarily think that that's a fair comparison. We're comparing Soniqs to Dark Zero and eUnited to Space Station, and we're trying to like correlate performance. And I don't know that it works like that. I think that these are very different teams that have very different very different gameplay styles, and you're going to perform differently against them as such. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into the match. Ban phase has already started. Zofia, of all operators, the first ban there by eUnited. Soniqs will get rid of Ace, and we'll start going into the defensive bans.
When was the last time we saw a Zofia ban?
I'm looking it up right now.
Can you crunch the numbers for me?
Yeah, I'm trying to find out. Just because that's a very odd ban, honestly. For neither of these teams in their last like dozen or so games have banned Zofia, so that's a first for both of them. At least we can get that out of the way.
No Ace and no Zofia on Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
You know how hard it's going to be to clear out the ADSs that are going to be present? Because at least Wamaya's banned.
Actually, nobody in the U.S. division has banned Zofia this entire stage. I'm going to go back to stage 1 to see if anyone did it there.
Oh, you don't say.
Yeah, this is a first for stage 2. And it looks like it's a first for stage 1, too. Yeah, she wasn't banned stage 1. She wasn't banned stage 2. Maybe during the mini-major? So weird.
Well, you gonna?
I mean, I'm looking for it, yeah. I'm almost there. It doesn't look like she was banned during the mini-major era. She hasn't been banned in a long time in NA.
I genuinely cannot remember the last time she was banned, if she was at all. So this is something to obviously keep in mind, and I know that this is a Jesse Chick moment, by the way, because I feel like
Go, Jesse,
I feel like he's gonna pull up some stat where he's like, well, actually, in Canada Challenger League qualifiers 2 days ago, they banned Zo, and I'm gonna just Jesse, I would never know that. So I will patiently await, because I think he can hear me right now. I will patiently await him weighing in, and then I will selfishly take the information that he relays to me, and I will not credit him.
Yes, that's the strategy.
And then people will say to me, "Wow, and Tara, yeah, that is crazy how you knew that. How did you know that?" And I'll be like, "I just remember."
So insightful, Parker.
Thanks,
Gosh.
Michael.
That
It's,
was,
by the way, eUnited is on defense here. If my read of the map ban phase was correct, eUnited is going to be on defense every time, which is odd to start off with. That means that the Soniqs will be starting on attack every time.
That means, I guess, that these teams have different preferences when it comes to attack defense on Oregon, and I find that kind of interesting. I will say that people are starting to figure out the new Oregon a little bit more, you know, solidly, if that makes sense. And newer maps are always defender-sided just because the attack strategies take more time to develop. Also, you have to wait for the defensive strategies to develop before even making attack strategies sometimes, so it's a little weird. But we're at the point now in Oregon's, or New Oregon's lifespan, where the attack has started figuring things out. So I don't think it's necessarily always going to be an advantage for the defense. Statistically, it still is, if I'm not mistaken, but not forever.
We'll take a look. Well, my being banned means that both the pillars and attic defenses that we see from teams that usually involves doubling up on those two operators, as there's some significant overlap as to how their gadgets work. Obviously, Wamai's Magnets grabs your projectile/thrown object, whereas the ADS just destroys it, evaporates it, whatever you want to say, eviscerates it. You can use a couple different words, but
decimates it.
Decimates it. Decimate is to reduce by 10. I thought.
Really?
Anyway, pre-fire from the Jaeger as there's going to be the first bit of action, and he gets bamboozled by the clone that was tossed out of the Yana, and in this position, Rexon will just hang on. I don't think he can hear adequately. Either there's too much gunfire or too many comms, because he keeps pre-firing away, suspecting somebody to push him up on that spot. And he juggles the ADSs out, and you can see from the lights that are still flashing on one of them that not all hope is lost. But it appears that he's been moved from that position as attic control, and then also trophy held in the hand of the Soniqs.
Decimate, kill, destroy, or remove. 40 seconds left here.
Reduced by 10%.
And the attack, it can also mean that. That is a secondary definition. 37 seconds left for the Soniqs to get this execution underway in a 5v5. So it's not looking good for the Soniqs right now. They're going to have to speed things up. This nade, if it had landed, might have been integral to the outcome of the round, but it didn't. And that's going to allow Rexon to continue to play in dorms. But nice play there from Easley, prone angle. He'll refrag Kansan's earlier kill. That's looking good for the Soniqs. They might be able to make the push into B from Attic, but Gomfi, Kansan down. The exchange back and forth here as we hit the last few seconds. It's only Gomfi now as eUnited really wakes up. He's not going to be able to find all three. He'll find two, but that's not enough. And eUnited wins on time.
You just need to hide at that point. You know, Yeti didn't even need to take that fight either. I'm pretty certain as the kill feed faded that he was the one involved in that fracas on the bottom of White Stairs. Gomfi was at the top of White Stairs, which is referred to as Canadian spot.
Yeah,
no reaction.
I wonder why.
I was gonna say no reaction. Okay.
I'm sorry, I was looking up stats because I was trying to find Oregon.
He's not even playing today, but I got you. So
no, I was looking at the defensive Oregon stats.
You know the difference though is that Gomfi actually got a kill.
Yes,
from that spot.
He did.
Gomfi's last 2 kills, by the way, were totally impactless, and while it does look good that he has 3 kills, only one really actually helped with that round, because like we said, when it's 10 15 seconds left, 5 seconds left, and you know you've got control of the site and it's a 1vx, you just need to hide if you're a part of that X. You don't need to take any engagements whatsoever. So good rally from eUnited though. by the way. Opening pick obviously goes to eUnited, but it's traded right off onto Rexen. So it's a wash as to who gets that, first blood. And eUnited seemed to be trapped in the back of kids' dorms and trapped in double dorms. And yet they fought their way out. It's unfortunate that Easley was priming the frag grenade. He watched his teammate die right in front of his very eyes. The grenade did not go where he wanted it to, and then he missed the follow-up shots onto what I believe was Alfama, if memory serves me correctly. Yeti, or it was a Grixer, tossed out a C4, and he caught the separate push that was coming from, I believe, over by Trophy. I was just absolute mayhem. Total mayhem. Utter bedlams. But eUnited were landing their shots, and this is the one thing that we've always touted about eUnited, is that even when they were playing their goofy, meta-breaking style that every single team said isn't going to work. And it didn't work, which is why they've kind of started to play the same game as everybody else now. This was always a scary team on paper, and this is always a team that was more than capable of hitting their shots because of how mechanically gifted they are, and it's nice to see it happening.
It certainly is. I think that, it's still early yet, but both teams have been looking pretty solid. I love the relentlessness from Soniqs in that first round, and yet I'm worried about them because of how slow they were on the initial execute. That's definitely going to, I think, be a hurdle, something that the Soniqs need to get over on this round here. Now, of course, it has to do with the gridlock nature of Oregon. This map is very rigid in its execution paths, and the defense, eUnited, have been doing a great job of delaying so far. Nade prepped. Looks like he's trying to get it into Harry Potter, or maybe onto the stairs, possibly to eliminate some barbed wire there. Rexen is playing in Harry Potter. He doesn't have an ADS there, so if the nade does pop into that corner, he's a dead man. If he gets droned out, that will likely happen. But no drones going into Harry Potter just yet from the Soniqs, so Rexen remains nice and snug and safe. You can see Kansan is trying to assist him by distracting and destroying drones. If he's able to keep Rexen's position unknown, good things will come. But it looks like it's possible he's been spotted by that drone. The nade came in, but it was too far. He'll persist here for now, but he's an easy pre-fire for the Soniqs.
He gave his position away as well with that shot. It's some damage being done to Easley, as he's going to have to watch multiple angles, and neither Sleben nor Gomfy are in any position to help, and even less so now that Gomfy's been preyed upon by Rexen. 2 big kills, pistol out, third kill for him. He can't be shaken off of this back pillar position. He's waiting for somebody to push down those stairs. There's nobody there for now. He gets droned out, and we'll have to be very cautious of who comes next. It's Super in that spot, and Easley only has 1 HP, but he doesn't look the right way, and easily finishes him off. So Rexen's reign of terror will end for now, but 20 seconds left, and so much damage has been done by one single man. This is going to be a major challenge for the Soniqs. Easley has that diffuser, but with the toxic plumes going off, he won't survive very much if he breathes any of it in. Down goes Easley, so it's Super now in a 1v4. He takes out one, but it's traded off right away by Grixer, and eUnited hangs on to win their second round in a row.
I mean, obviously the name, you guessed it, is Rexen. Big play from him there. I think he realized his moment was now or never. When he got detected in Harry Potter, he made the decision. All right, I've got to make a play. I have to make a push. And honestly, yeah, okay, it's Rexen who makes that happen. Beautiful stuff from him. But also, that does lie on the shoulders of the Soniqs. Rexen's position was known for seemingly a decent amount of time, and no play was made to snuff him out. Allowing Rexen to persist in Harry Potter allowed him the opportunity, or afforded him the opportunity, to make the play and completely cripple the Soniqs attack. So it's, good job to Rexen. A little bit of a problem there for the Soniqs. Actually, a significant problem. A play that they should have made much sooner. Now, eUnited looking pretty solid given that they've won both of their standard bomb sites. That's the top floor and the bottom floor. If you're not familiar, those are the 2 most comfortable bomb sites for teams on this map in the current meta. Now, eUnited will have to go to what is typically considered an off site. Though on Oregon, given that this map has, as of late in North America, a 65% defensive win rate, any site is really viable. Even though this is a lower hanging fruit, it's still accessible to the defense. It's still defensible. So this isn't so much of a problem for eUnited, but it is the opportunity that Soniqs need. In that it's not going to get much better than that. much better than this specifically. If we get back to the standard bomb sites and Soniqs is at a 3-0, things are looking pretty bad for the Soniqs in the long run.
Is it a case of this team just not waking up yet again? Sleben and Iconic, no kills through the first 2 rounds. Gomfi's handful of kills, all but 1 actually, were pretty much meaningless, given that they came in the final 3 seconds of a round that was ultimately lost long before that. I don't know what it is with the Soniqs. Maybe they're just struggling to adapt to their opponents. You know, I mean, this isn't as easy a schedule for the Soniqs as you think. First, you have to go up against Dark Zero, who are a consistent team, but certainly didn't look like the world beaters that they have over the last 2 months before this. Now, Dark Zero seems like an unstoppable force inside of North America. And it's the best that they've played ever as a team. And I don't know who is going to be able to beat them next, frankly. And now you're going up against an eUnited team, which is very motivated. They came extremely close to defeating Space Station Gaming. They look rejuvenated, and they're playing so strong and much better coordinated siege than they ever have before. So for the Soniqs, this is a really tough start. But if they want to finish in the top 4, as so many people Michael talked about before we actually got into the stage, everybody was talking about how, the Soniqs might even be top 4. You got to beat teams like eUnited, and you have to be more competitive against teams like Dark Zero.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. I think that really North America's top 4 spots are incredibly competitive through this season, and I think there's a lot of change possibility, right? It could go, for a lot of these teams, it could go either way, whether they belong in that top floor. And as you mentioned, Parker, as it has been talked about at length, the real proving ground for that is winning your matches, and there's no other way to make that determination. In this round, Easley's going to team kill Iconic as they both attempt to entry over by the stage. That is not ideal and can be a tilter in tense moments like this where you really need to win this round. They'll try to make a push into Kitchen. That's not going to be an easy funnel to push through. As you can see, eUnited have a lot of lined up shots, and they'll get Gomfi on the entry, as well as Sleben. Easley's in sight. He's got Diffuser, but there's no one left to cover him. The guns are gone. He needs to finish this reload. He needs to take this fight with the player on Metal Box. He'll win it. That's big, but it's not going to be enough. eUnited, a stalwart defense there, and they will continue their defensive streak. 3-0.
This is the Soniqs map, so that's why I think where things become most troubling here for them as well. Yes, it is a very defender-heavy Oregon on a map that is quite defender-sided, and I don't think you can really begin to describe how challenging a Zofia ace ban is for the attackers right now. Zofia in particular has maintained one of the highest pick rates, if not the highest attacker pick rate in all of professional Rainbow Six for years, and now more than ever, with it being a utility soak or utility dump style meta, you need her. If you're attacking above, where does a Zofia go on this map? A Zofia and a Sledge will usually be on that top floor regardless of where the bomb site is. Breaching charges, 2 explosives, 2 concussions. That's massive. And she can do a lot of damage while also having a good gun, and you don't really need to risk her that much. A lot of teams use a Zofia as your main entry along with a Sledge. They can use them interchangeably depending on the setup that you have on attack. No Zofia is a major handicap for these attackers. Doesn't matter who it is. It was eUnited who banned the Zofia, so the thinking is that it has a profound and much more dramatic impact on the Soniqs because they might not know how to play around it the same way that the Soniqs would know how to play around not having an ace.
And, you know, there's more to it than that. I mean, there's little layers to this as well. In the past, in the last stage, just to drive home your point, what you used to do if you had to deal with a Zofia ban was you counterban Wamai, no big deal. Well, that's exactly what happened here. Wamai got counterbanned. But there's so much utility on the defense to burn now that it doesn't matter. There are 6 things that need destroying. 3 Melusi gadgets, 2 Evil Eyes, and a shield. Those must be destroyed before you can make your assault. And yeah, you've got the explosives technically with the nades to make that happen, but you also have to commit all of your sub-gadgets to stuns to clear out all the ADSs. And it just becomes... Well, it's always been arduous. It's always been this rigorous task, but at the same time, you know, the Zofia ban does make it just that little bit more difficult. Now, we're seeing the tower take here to start things off. This is standard. You just want to open up attic. The reason you open up attic is you want to keep the defense thinking about the attic push. Whether the attic push is happening or not is not that important. The main thing is that you want to have the defenders looking that way and stacking their utility in attic so that they can't put it other places. You can see 2 ADSs in attic right now to support Rexon, and now he's got to stay focused on that, which means that you can go for a master side take, which you can see being droned out right now, and open up that game's wall, giving you 2 points of access and a crossfire of sorts to commence your assault. Now here's that utility game continuing over here, getting rid of one of the evil eyes to make the attack a lot easier.
The ADS juggling as well that we saw from the Jaeger might be quite beneficial in regards to him now being able to stop something else. There goes a frag grenade in. It goes off but doesn't do any damage. Another opening pick for eUnited as they are controlling the pace of this defense right now. And there's a minute to go. You've lost Sleben. At least you still have the other hard breacher of Easily, whose talents have been used on that back attic wall. You talked about it earlier in tower, which is where Rexon is going to play off of. Rexon obviously having quite a dramatic impact previously. We'll see what he can do in this round. There's nobody nearby. Flurry of action as Kansan gets a kill before he's taken out by Easily. And that's the Maestro, who has been, well, he's been really active on that score sheet in both the matches so far since coming to professional play. Final 30 seconds, and you can see Super dawdling inside a trophy. I don't know if they're getting these calls or not. Aggressiveness from Yeti pays off. He tries to swing onto the window, but can't hit it. In plunges easily, but he's downed by none other than Alfama. And it's Super in a 1v3. Engaging in attic, he's able to take out Rexon, but he's got a tall task ahead of him with 10 seconds left. He spins around, and he's gunned down by Alfama. The Frenchman doing great work along with Yeti, and it's 4-0 for eUnited. They will decisively win the first half.
Yeah, it's been pretty rough here for the Soniqs. Oregon, specifically the defensive side of Oregon, is definitely favored. I'd seen a lack of decisiveness on the execution here for the Soniqs. Their ability to pinch into the site together is a serious, serious problem. Now, while that's a problem, something that isn't necessarily a problem is the availability of the pro skins. For a limited time, you can support the Rainbow Six esports pro teams with 30% of the net revenue split equally amongst the Phase 3 teams, and the skins look pretty awesome as well. They even announced a lot of new stuff that I believe is dropping tomorrow on the official Rainbow Six Twitter. Some really exciting Tier 1 skins and charms and uniforms actually are going to be making their way to the shop pretty soon. So keep an eye out for those as well.
Yes, Michael, that's R6 share.
Mm-hmm.
Or dramatically, R6 share.
Yeah, it was the brainchild, or sorry, it was the child of Stuart Ewan. Great guy.
Great man, by the way.
Yeah,
really
huge
enjoy
contributor to the Rainbow Six esports scene. It's behind the scenes sort of contributions, but his contributions should be noted.
Excellent man. Good friend. And we are lucky to have him on the esports team. Obviously, not all of the credit goes to him, as he did not.
Of course, team
believe
effort.
it or not, he did not do everything single-handedly. But he did do a lot of the legwork, so
pretty sure he
big ups to
developed
Stuart and anybody working on the
single-handedly.
esports team. Because some of those skins, Michael, they're quite nice.
They are, yeah.
They're quite nice. So, yeah, we're going to have, what did they say, Tier 1 is available tomorrow, which is the 10...
I think that's right.
Yeah, I think it's the 10 uniforms, gun skins, and charms. Oh, no, Is that a reset on Iconic? It sure seems like it was a reset on Iconic, as he's been down now, but that is once again a bad start for the Soniqs. Iconic was team killed by Easily a couple rounds before that, and there's been a bit of sloppiness on the Soniqs entry point. Now they're going to find that their Thatcher is only going to have 20 HP for the remainder of this round.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. It could have been due to the C4. I didn't see if the C4 actually landed on anyone.
Yeah, I didn't see it either.
But I saw him throw the C4. I just didn't think it landed. Either way, damage done. Iconic will struggle in future gunfights, as you mentioned, as he has been struggling throughout this map. As you can see, he has not found the scoreboard just yet. It's sometimes you just have matches like that. Plus, he's on a support role right now. Now, EMP going in, that's going to get one of the Evil Eyes. That's actually quite large. Big pick there for Iconic, and this is the contribution that is not noted in the scoreboard. Getting rid of an evil eye like that is significant, especially if you're doing it all by yourself. No burn needed. Now, even though that evil eye has been burnt, so is a lot of time. Look at the clock. Rexon's going to find his home back in Harry Potter, see if he can work some magic like he did the last time eUnited was in the basement. And he'll actually rotate back to Pillar. That's a safer position to play, all things considered. Actually bringing it all the way home.
And the reason why he did that specifically, and that's a missed opportunity, as easily gets 2 big kills, and he manages to flush out Rexon as well as Grixer. Alfama now sustaining a lot of damage from the fire that had opened up as he swung on Nagomfi, and Yeti goes down, meaning that the Soniqs have full control. It's a 4v2, so Kansan and Alfama will need to try to hang on. And there it is, but Kansan will need to clutch as it's him in a 1v2, swinging on to Iconic, but Iconic breaks the donut this round, and the Soniqs will finally get themselves on the board. It's a long climb to try to get up to where eUnited is, but you got to start somewhere.
That is massive for the Soniqs. Not only winning a round, but winning it on the basement. It looked like all hope was lost. And Parker, before we continue with the analysis, what joke were you trying to make there with the Rexon falling back?
No, I wasn't trying to make a joke at all. They knew that he was sitting in Harry Potter, so they used the Hibana X Kairos on the interior of that pillbox so that they could see when he moved out of Harry Potter from the hatch.
Yeah, he made a very decisive and smart rotation. Also, I mean, that aside, the time was perfect to get out. If he had made it out of that alive, then very different round. In fact, it's transitioning now into the analysis. That round was basically tied up and, you know, delivered directly to the Soniqs with a bow on top by Easley's nade on elbow. That was pretty much the extent of it. The fact that it got 2 for the price of 1, and it kept the rotation on elbow open. For those of you who don't know, elbow is where Alfama was just making that rotation. And normally, when the defense loses control of elbow, they reinforce off that rotation that you saw Alfama make earlier before the attack can get to it, thus eliminating the line of sight. It's called reinforcement juggling, or, I mean, I'm sure there's some other fun name for it. But that didn't happen in the last round because of the nade. The shield was lost, the 2 players who were playing on elbow were lost, and eUnited couldn't regain control. So that's massive there for the Soniqs, and it's pretty much the main reason they won the round. And the 2 kills as well.
What if I just never spoke again? Would you just cast the whole thing alone?
I think, you know, I think I would sputter on for a little bit. Like, I would wait for you to pick it up and then maybe speak a little bit, and then pause 10 seconds, speak a little bit, and then continue to like hint that you should pick it up. And then eventually, if you stop speaking, I'd be like, yo, production, is Parker okay? Am I not hearing him? And then if you continue to not speak, then yes, I would probably pick it up after a long pause.
Frankly, I'm offended that you would take so long to ask how I was doing. But that's a conversation for another day.
I'm sorry, Parker. I betrayed you.
Excellent Kaid juggling, and they managed to take out 1 round of X Kairos. So tough going for Slevin, and they'll be able to get another depending on what happens here. Now there are still 3 EMPs on the board, and it's timed well. There goes the EMP, and I think the Kaid Claw's actually been taken off at this point. And yeah, there we go. They'll throw up 2, and do they get it? They do. Wow. eUnited, it's not sexy and it's not flashy, but boy, oh boy, this must be frustrating for the Soniqs.
Yeah, that's definitely a point of frustration. Oh no! Oh, that's terrible! The second Electrocog at the second set too, despite the EMP bad timing on the Soniqs. And the drop will remain intact. Xbox now very playable for eUnited, thus further delaying the Soniqs assault. That's bad. That's bad.
That is absolutely brutal, and just shows to show you how incredibly vital hard breach and good utility is, because now the Soniqs are going to have to completely change things up. They'll just take control of pillars on their own. They'll lose Slevin to Rexon, as it was a joint effort with Kansan getting in on it too. So an assist comes his way. Late reinforcement onto the opening in elbow, and eUnited can sit pretty for the remaining 45 seconds. They have so much working for them. They don't need to worry about the hatches above them. They don't need to worry about pressure from blue. And now the Soniqs have to take very linear fights here. Knowing how challenging that is, even when you've opened up most of the lines of sight into the bombs, you're going to have to do it with minimal utility. You can see that right now there's almost no utility for the Soniqs, while there's plenty remaining for eUnited. Toxic canisters, a nitro cell, and Evil Eye still up will be the doom of the SQ team. 20 seconds and they are still all stacked up by pillars as they have not found a way in yet. And eUnited doesn't need to move a muscle. The only one on the team who's lost anything is Kansan. Taking their sweet time as much as they can, the Soniqs decide, well, we'll just storm on in, and Gomfy takes one as Iconic falls, but there goes Gomfy too. Super last alive yet again. What is this, round 3 or 4? But he's so far away, he'll take down one, but that's about it. Impactless and utterly meaningless frags when it comes to the greater picture. And only one member, I guess, actually upright. Did it look like? Maybe 2. Regardless, eUnited take the first half 5-1 on Soniqs map.
Wow, that's really rough for the Soniqs. And I'm noticing a distinct lack of mojo here for the Soniqs, a distinct lack of confidence on their assault. It definitely seems like they've got the basic idea of the attack down pat, like, okay, we're going to push here, like so. But the actual, like, definitive execution plan, the timing and such, is not so well thought out, or so it seems. Now, I can understand that on a map like Oregon. The only question is, well, then why go here? Now, I get it, because, yeah, Oregon's kind of a newer map, in all, relatively speaking. And I can understand why you might be a little bit less comfortable on this map, on your attacks. But then why is this the Soniqs pit? So it just gets a little bit confusing in that regard. Now, all that said, the Soniqs did get one round. That was essential to their success. I don't think I'm going to expect Soniqs to come back from a 6-0. I don't really expect them to come back from a 5-1 either. But it's much more plausible that they recover from this scoreline than absolute domination. So we'll see if the Soniqs can turn around the results right now from a 5-1 now that they have defense.
One thing that was talked about on social media that might not have been present for people who are just getting into the game right now is that there was a gentleman's agreement that was reached between both Soniqs and eUnited prior to this matchup starting that neither team would play Echo, as there is some great debate about whether or not his gadget is functioning correctly at the moment. So neither team are going to be playing Echo, but more than that, you don't need to waste a ban on him, which is what's added a little bit of flexibility to this and is very similar to what we saw in the past when Echo was quarantined, so to speak, earlier in stage 1. Valk and Wamai were the 2 bans. You have to think that Echo probably would have taken one of those 2 spots had these teams not come to the agreement. As I say all this, by the way, Sleben, who had a bad first game of this stage, is having a pretty bad first map of this game, as he is 1-7 and he has just perished. With a minute into the round, you've lost one of your most formidable fragging operators. That is not good for the Soniqs.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate, and I think it's due to the different attack here from eUnited. They're doing a downstairs clear to remove the vertical roamers and get those picks early on. That really bolsters the attack when you actually start going for the site, because it means you have that man advantage and you're capable of trading out much more conveniently. So big pick there for eUnited. Wall has also been opened, and it was opened actually way earlier by Alfalma. And Kansan, I'm sure, was there to assist. He probably got the mute jammer on the wall. Nade goes into Attic, does a lot of damage to Super. He's reduced to about 47, 48. Iconic going for flank, though, and somehow this works! He gets the diffuser down, but peeks the wrong way, and Rexton will get the refrag. However, Iconic got there. He managed to get his one frag, and that's enough to make it a little bit more difficult for eUnited. This was certainly looking like a one-sided round. Considering Super's still in Attic, he's going to be the linchpin of this round for the defense. He'll get one on the entry, but Yeti will get another to trade it out. Gomfy also gets one as he goes in. The plant happening this whole time. Soniqs leaving only Gomfy in a 1v1. Shotgun out. Did he see the thermite? Yes, he did. Whoa. Shotgun blast lands, and Gomfy will clutch up.
What a play by Gomfy, and that was some poor execution to pressure him at the back of dorms. They knew his positioning. They knew how they wanted to go about getting him. They prioritized taking out Super so that they could have full control to push as Super was playing in Attic as Malusi, and she just had a tiny bit of HP left on her, so there goes Super. And then you think that eUnited would have been able to collapse on Gomfy, but he played very well and played ring around the rosy, essentially around the bunks, which you cannot shoot through. So you're basically impervious to damage while you're in that position. And a shotgun out means that at close range, I mean, it's the SAS shotgun. It might do 1 damage or it might do 100 damage. You don't really know what's coming. In this case, Gomfi only needed a single shot. And Alfama, who's been the best player on eUnited so far today, not just in terms of impactful kills, but just in terms of kills, period. He's got 10 so far, and mind you, while 1 or 2 of them from the previous round were largely, impactless, he still had some extremely clutch moments, shutting down entry points, then getting kills on smoke. He's not able to do too much against Gomfi, as good as he's been. And Gomfi's really warmed up as well. He had a bad first day of the stage, but he's making his presence known, and he's currently leading this team in terms of, I would say, impactful kills maybe now. But it's hard to tell because he had those 2 kills in, was it round number 1 that were ultimately meaningless? So he's competing with Easily, though, as Easily's had a bit of a resurgence himself with the Soniqs over these last 2 games. And I honestly think some of that is the fact that you've got Iconic and Sleben dramatically underperforming, and Easily's there to pick up that slack.
Easily's always been that kind of player. He's always been put on those support utility roles, and he's consistently performing on those roles. He's got an interesting journey through professional play, and we've seen him on roles on teams where he does not perform as he could. But I think on the Soniqs, he definitely seems very comfortable. Now, whether or not that's met with actual overall success of the team is another story entirely. While Easily can play well, sometimes the Soniqs as a whole are struggling. And when you have a player like Sleben, and Iconic, who both ought to be some of your primary fraggers, together collectively dropping 3 kills on round 8, that's a problem. And I'm not going to, that doesn't put it all on Iconic and Sleben's shoulders. Far from it. Sometimes you have games like that, and that's why there's players like Easily to pick up the slack. But it is a big part of why this is going the way it's going right now. Now, the hope is that will all change on the second half, and the round we just witnessed suggests that it might. But as Sleben is once again the first pick in this round, as he was in the last, it's not looking great for the Soniqs.
No, and at what point do you begin to sound the alarm bells on Sleben and Iconic struggling as much as they have? Because both of these players looked significantly better in stage 1, and now they are, for reasons that we don't know, are underperforming in the roles that they have. And sure, I think you're right. It's great that Super and Easily can show up on the scoreboards, and ideally you want a well-rounded team where everybody is capable of popping off and you don't have any dead weight. But right now you have a couple players that are specifically playing roles in which they should be able to excel aggressively, and they are not excelling there. So at some point, the Soniqs will need to figure that one out. As you noted, eUnited got the very first pick, but Iconic is heating up. Yet again, he was good in the first round on defense. And now eUnited blows themselves sky high, and another gift, this time for the Soniqs. Tossing out the smoke canisters as Easily decides to worm his way up to the doorway of Bunker, and Super had taken some damage earlier on. There's 40 seconds left, and the Soniqs are in pretty good shape to be able to carry this round.
Easily with a very ballsy play as he gets up nice and personal with the the 2 attackers who are attempting to push over by... What is happening with those tracers? That was weird. Alfama attempting to push through blue, but he'll rotate. I'm not sure. I think he tried to push through and got the barricade bug and then fell back because he couldn't move through the door. That's my guess based on those tracers. Anyway, push coming in through pillar. Last 8 seconds here. eUnited has almost no chance, but they will get easily inside of blue. That's big. The push, though, from Gomfi is punished despite his C4 landing. Alfama looking for the frags, and he almost clutches it out, actually, with the plant. He might have been able to save that one, but no. Soniqs will win on time. A rehost is called. I'm not sure what happened there. I have no explanation for why the attack didn't commit to the blue take. That was a little bit weird. They all just left blue. They could have pinched between blue and pillar. I'm a little confused.
Not entirely sure. Michael, I don't know if you know this, but I do not have a degree in serverology. So yeah. I can't really weigh in on this one. But even if there were some struggles and they had to run uphill and they couldn't make it in blue, well, they still reacted quite well, still put it onto a 2v2, and Alfama was about a half second off from being able to get the diffuser down, which obviously would have boded quite well for eUnited. This is 2 rounds in a row, though, where it's really come down to the dying seconds. The first defense for the Sonics that they prevail on comes down to a 1v1 shootout with Gomfy playing around a bunk bed in dorms. It's a fight he is destined to win because of the way that obviously the SAS shotgun works. But it's still very, very close. That round also comes quite close. There's a team kill on behalf of eUnited that obviously blows up a portion of their chances. They struggle to get control in blue for reasons that are unbeknownst to us. Maybe they couldn't get through the barricade. We don't exactly know. 1 or 2 things go a little bit right in those rounds, and this match is over. At that point, it's a 7-1 in favor of eUnited, and you can't say the same of the Sonics. If you go back and you look at eUnited's defense, it was not that close on a number of rounds. There's a much more dominant performance from eUnited. So that shakiness from the Sonics, well, I wouldn't exactly be the most confident. Yeah, you're picking up rounds, but you're not picking up rounds in the fashion that is going to knock off eUnited. And eUnited is obviously still playing with an abundance of confidence, and they are coming very close to winning these rounds. And with it, they would win the game.
Yeah, that last round was certainly a close call for the Sonics. I actually thought for a moment that it might have been salvageable for eUnited, and had that team kill not come in, I think it probably would have gone the way of eUnited, in fact. Now, that's the ifs, ands, but there's not a whole lot going on in that department. Really, what we need to do is look forward to these future rounds. The big thing to note is that the Sonics have now defended the top floor and the bottom floor successfully. Great for them. But they're going to now have to go to meeting and kitchen, or kitchen and dining. And both of those sites are, again, a little bit easier to attack, conventionally speaking. Now, generally, that's going to result in a round win for the attack. It didn't so much for the Sonics when they were on attack, but eUnited's attacks are looking a lot more confident. And I would give eUnited the benefit of the doubt, all things considered. I think that we're going to see United lock this one out pretty soon here. We're brushing up against a map number 2 already. And this is not what I was expecting personally. I mean, you know, who knows? Maybe Veli was right. Based on a result like this, especially on Sonic's map, maybe this is going to be a 2-0. eUnited are looking just so much more confident. That's the main thing that I'm picking up from from this map so far.
Next map up, obviously, is Consulate. It was played in their match against Space Station, and eUnited came quite close to winning it. I mean, it was as close as you can get without overtime. It was a 7-5 in favor of Space Station. So, hey, eUnited has been quite impressive. If you would have asked me before coming in what would have happened in this matchup, I would have said the edge is definitely towards the Sonics. Now, there have been instances in the past where the teams bully each other on their opposite map picks, and maybe eUnited takes the Sonics map 7-3, and then the Sonics take eUnited's map 7-2. We've actually seen that, I think, enough times that it's noteworthy, which will set us up for Villa as the ultimate showdown, which of course would prove Veli wrong. And, well, I mean, you and I already agreed at the onset that a third map is very likely. I didn't think the map scores themselves would be very close. I thought that the teams would likely excel on their own maps by a big margin, then go to Villa for the slugfest. I mean, it's a 5-3 right now in favor of eUnited. And eUnited have made a number of mistakes on their attacks, but on defense, they looked like they were very sharp. Very, very sharp. And this is a totally different team right now.
Yeah,
the attacks for eUnited used to be extremely disjointed, with Alfama and Yeti getting killed very early most of the time. Forrest and Grix are in La La Land, and then Call Out still trying to drone them in, saying, guys, as they all died around them. This is not the way that eUnited is playing anymore, and obviously it's paying immediate dividends.
Yeah, I'd say that eUnited's looking strong. Sonic's a little bit shaky, but before we actually get back into the action, we're going to throw to a short break, and we'll be back as soon as we can.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We're still in map number 1 between the Sonics and eUnited, and it's a 5-3 scoreline for eUnited on the Sonics map, with eUnited currently on attack and the Sonics on defense. Now, We know you don't come here to look at our faces, even though we are both exceptionally beautiful humans. You come here for the match itself. So we're going to waste no time, and we're going to get right back into Oregon, because we still might have 2 maps to go, Michael.
Yeah, it could be one map. We'll find out, I guess, in a moment what it's going to look like on map number 2. If we go into map number 2 and it's a complete landslide for eUnited, I'm going to be pretty disappointed, I'm not going to lie. When you tell me SQ versus EU, I immediately think that it's going to be a pretty tough head-to-head match, and we'll go the whole mile. But right now, it's not looking so much like that. It's certainly looking like eUnited have the upper hand. You know, we've been talking for a long time about how the Soniqs could be that, you know, new team to usher themselves into the top floor. They've touted as such. This has been a long conversation, and now suddenly eUnited's the squad that's looking much stronger on SQ's map, no less. This match today, I think, is more than just for the standings. You know, it's more than just the losers round, that elimination match that puts you in the bad spot. It's also a match that I think tells a story about where these squads are relative to each other, and given how competitive, as we talked about earlier, how competitive the top 4 in North America is, or even just North America as a whole, U.S. division as a whole, given how competitive it is, I think that means a whole lot.
Yeah, you know, I heard that before they got into this match that the losing team has to do the winning team's laundry for a week.
I heard that as well, yeah, and that's probably the lowest blow, the hardest hit, and probably why we're seeing both these teams be so gosh darn motivated to not lose. It's not even about winning anymore, it's just about not losing.
I mean, could you imagine the pride that you would have forcing Super to do your laundry?
I know. And
unbelievable.
I bet you he'd do a terrible job of it too, deliberately. He'd probably spitefully wash it with too much detergent and damage and fray your clothing.
You'd itch, right?
Yeah.
Like it'd be, might maybe even develop a rash.
And in the dryer, he would definitely put up temperature too high to shrink it as well. It would be terrible.
And yet he would go to put on a shirt and he'd be like, whoa, am I getting that swole or?
I mean, he is though.
I mean, he is getting very swole.
Very.
Not quite that. Anyway. We'll get back into this now because it is round number 9. The Soniqs are within striking distance of closing this game against eUnited. There is a lot of time for eUnited to fix this, including this round. There are 3 rounds after that, so you've still got an opportunity. 1 round is going to put your opponent on their heels. So eUnited, if they can cut through this defense relatively quickly, maybe get an opening pick as they were so good on defense at doing. In fact, they've actually been good on it all game, regardless of where they are. They are dominating the Soniqs in those opening picks, and they can maybe snowball it forward. But the Soniqs have seen a much better second half than a first half already, and we're only 2 rounds in.
It's not over yet, but yes, it's definitely looking best for eUnited. Now, above, easily trying to roam, but he's got 3 attackers pinching on him. This is very difficult position to survive in. The only assistance he has is from Iconic, who has been spotted and forced off. Super will get cans in, so that's a big pick there for Super. Easily falls back. That was a pick in the hallway there. As so it seems like somebody was trying to push up there onto White Hall. Now, eUnited, no response yet. Kind of surprising. In previous rounds, eUnited were ruthless with their refrags and their assertiveness. Not so here. In fact, now we're seeing a little bit of what we saw from the Soniqs on attack. This delay. We're coming down to the last 30 seconds. No refrag. In fact, it's getting worse for the attack. Gonfi and Iconic both pick up 1, with Rexon on a sliver of HP. Alfama will get 1, Rexon gets 1. So, okay, a little bit of a bounce back here, but it's still not an ideal situation for eUnited. And they're disconnected from each other, these last 2 attackers, with only a few seconds to make the execution happen. And there it is. The final 2 kills for the Soniqs. They come far away from each other, but it matters not as the defense continues its dominance.
So far, a single attacking round victory through 9 rounds. So that Zofia ban, that Ace ban, that is playing perfectly into an extremely defender-heavy Oregon. And it's frustrating, teams. You can see that one of the greatest strengths that Zofia has is not just her destruction, The only real operator right now that can do what she does is Ashe. Your Ashe is going to be the one to take care of any Maestro cameras. Your Ashe is going to be the one to take care of any of Malusi's Banshees. You just simply don't have the ability to replace Zofia the same way that you do if other operators have been moved out. Yeah, I guess maybe Sledge can do it in a pinch, and Maverick too if he's close enough, or if he uses frag grenades well.
Parker.
But it's still a poor substitute.
Parker, imagine going back to 2016 and telling Siege players that one of the most utility-heavy attackers in the game would be Ashe.
Yeah, it is a weird set of circumstances, eh? We've now moved into a spot where it's you cannot lose your Ashe early anymore.
Yeah. And it's down to, for those of you confused, it's the same thing that happened with IQ. Remember when IQ was basically useless? When they buffed her a little bit, they gave her a little bit more gadgetry, but you know, her functionality improved, but she still remained useless for a long time. And then suddenly there's so much utility on the defense that even just spotting where it is incredibly important. And being able to shoot it through floors, ceilings, oh my gosh. Great. Same thing happened to Ashe. She didn't really get a buff. Far from it, she's been nerfed several times. But her having 2 Ashe charges and stuns to clear ADS's oral mine magnets, so important in this meta. So crucial.
And I mean, she can do killing too, which is kind of nice. She can still frag well if you need her to. The R4C in hand. People have ended that experiment with the G36 ACOG, so there's that. I see what they did though. You want everybody to stop complaining about ACOG? Just give everybody new sights. It's pretty simple. Now nobody has the real ACOG.
Well, I guess now the real ACOG is the 3x, which isn't even technically the real ACOG, because originally the real ACOG was 3.2x, which they didn't tell anyone that, but yeah, it was apparently 3.2x. Now we have a 3x, a 2.5x, which is the ACOG. Anyway, it's confusing. Yeah, real ACOG's gone now, or quote real ACOG.
This has been a bit of a long round. We were only a minute in, and it feels like it's been longer than that. I mean, but relatively short. Given that the cycle is now going again, it's a Dorms defense up top for the Soniqs. Just as eUnited did, the Soniqs went perfect on their very first site rotation, winning the double dorms, then the laundry supply room, then that dining mess hall / kitchen bomb site. It was a bomb site that wasn't played by eUnited. eUnited instead went to the meeting hall kitchen one. So a bit of a difference there.
Yeah, but it doesn't really matter. The sites haven't mattered too much. And I think the reason they did the meeting hall then was because, you know, I mean, when you're up against the wall like this, you may as well go for the off-site because you know you have to win it anyway.
Right.
Okay, down goes the mute jammer. That's going to allow the exothermic to detonate and games wall open. But the attack looks the same for both teams lately. And we're actually 1 round away from this being an even round count. This looked like absolute desperation what feels like a few minutes ago for the Soniqs, and yet here we are, an even match, or near even match.
What tends to happen is that the match tightens up as the teams don't want to get too aggressive. Both of them obviously are more than capable of swinging on in and playing off of that, but they are giving their opponents the utmost respect. And the 30 seconds left, the first opportunity is going to come to Super. He just pops up into Attic. There's another for Super. He can't be stopped. T5 in hand. Statistically, he's having a pretty good day, and obviously since the rehost, you lose some of those stats. 15 seconds left for the remaining members of eUnited to just swing on in. Gomfy just punishes Grixer after he gets traded off, and then back and forth with Kansan getting 2 big kills. It's now all up to Easily, but he's not going to be able to do it. eUnited somehow just yanks that round away from the Soniqs when they had no right winning it. And what could have been a tie game is now match point for eUnited.
My God, Kansan. I mean, we've talked about this man a whole lot since he first made his debut, but geez, what a round from him. That was a huge performance as he entered in through games. Not only picking up the crucial kills that he needed, but also getting that plant to save the timer. Everything lined up there for eUnited, and it certainly seemed like that wasn't possible in that round. Soniqs have got to be kicking themselves for what just happened. And you can tell that that's the case because they're going back to kids' dorms. They could rotate their site at this point. They could try something different, but they realize, oh, heck, We made a major mistake, a big whoopsie. We can correct it second time around. And that's going to be what the Sonics attempt to do here. Major difference, they have subbed out the Maestro for a Clash. That's a very unique change. It could be very useful as well, especially considering the Zofia is banned. Her lifelines will push that shield aside. That's not going to be the case here. Obviously, Capitale's not going to be brought because you have to bring other ops that have nades in lieu of a Zofia. So you can rest assured you'll be a pretty safe Clash. And given that, play a little bit more aggressively. Lots of information will come from Easily on that operator. It's curious that it's Easily of all players who gets on the Clash, though. He's been fragging out so far through this match. Not so much on the defensive half, to be fair, but still. No matter how you look at that, though, oh boy, that last round, that was rough for the Sonics.
Yeah, I would say that's a bit deflating on their side, but nothing that they can't bounce back from.
Certainly
it'll be
not.
tough. I think it'll be tough, but I definitely think it's doable. eUnited can botch this round, and they still have one more left if they need it before overtime is required. The Sonics will start every overtime on defense, so the Sonics will defend twice on every map if OT is needed in any of them. Just as the Sonics will be starting on attack for every single map, which is quite confusing, but they chose this. For some of the maps they chose, of course.
And, I mean, there's been moments of brilliance for the Sonics, but then also moments of complete catastrophe, like that last round as an example. So, I think that we, you know, if the conversation is top 4 team, then the performance needs to meet that as well. And it hasn't been so far for SQ, at least today. Now, it does look like they're having a bit of an off day, but still. Okay, that drone spotting both of these players retreating through Freezer is actually huge, because it will go ahead and clear things up for United. They'll now know that they don't need to deal with any roamers on the middle floor and can start confronting the defenders on site. They also know there are 2 roamers currently. Now, this Clash is going to be huge in delaying the site push and could save the Sonics, given that they have only 3 players on site.
Super has been a playmaker inside of Attic and has been able to punish most of his adversaries that come in his line of sight. We'll see what he's capable of doing. And Coffee falls to Alfama, now also going for the defuse, as there goes Super to Grixer, and the Sonics now find themselves in a terrible spot. Coverage from 2 separate members of eUnited as the diffuser goes down and Alfama pops on up. Now easily turns around. He'll get 1 before getting dragged down by Grixer, and those 2 roamers of Slebin and Iconic have found their way back to the bomb site, but unfortunately for them, it's a little too late. Slebin with 1 kill, 2 kills, snaps over, but with 25 seconds left, the remaining members of eUnited need to hide. They don't, though. Yeti decides to step into the line of fire and take matters into his own hands. 7-4 is the scoreline for map 1, but it's eUnited taking the Sonics map.
What an absolutely massive round there for eUnited. Whoever made that shot call to go for the site take through the big window, stroke of genius. Now, I was worried that because of the 2 roamers, as I mentioned, there was an opportunity for eUnited to straight up hit the bomb site. And that's exactly what happened. I thought the Clash would deter the attack, but it did the exact opposite. It actually rendered the Sonics on site less lethal because they didn't have enough guns up after the other anchors died. Truly unfortunate there for the Sonics. Well played to eUnited.
Honestly, eUnited have obviously proven themselves that these 2 changes were of huge help to the team. Not only have they changed up their strategy, but every single player looks quite confident in their role. They're able to land their shots. We saw signs of brilliance from basically everybody today, except for maybe Yeti, I want to say. Everybody else had some standout plays from eUnited, and the Sonics, despite it being a 7-4 in favor of eUnited, the Sonics didn't have as bad of a game as they could have. They had some bad performances, and once again, both Iconic and Slebin did not show up the way that they have in games previously. Those are things that they're going to really need to work on if they want to be able to keep pace with all the other teams in what has become a very competitive North American league, Michael.
Yeah, it's been a really interesting one so far. And we've got another map, but it's not right now. It'll be after this short break. We'll catch you then.
welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and let's go straight to our analysts and break down the highlights of Map 1 Oregon. Valley and Jesse, whew, this is a battle.
No, this is a great battle, by the way. And eUnited, they're looking so good. Rexon, I said the player had to step up. Rexon was getting beautiful. I believe that was a 2 or 3K we saw at the beginning of that replay.
Yep.
Everything eUnited are doing at the moment, Jesse, they're 1 million times better than what we saw in stage 1.
Oh, absolutely. There's so many like little plays that are going really, really well for eUnited. Even the ones that aren't big and flashy. Like I'm thinking about that Kai trick that Yeti was able to pull off on that basement defense. There's so many like really great things happening on an individual level and also on a coordination level from EU. But Soniqs as well, when we get to the second half, we'll see some of their highlights. This was a pretty defender-sided map, so a lot of these highlights are coming in from the defense. But yeah, there were some really big plays. This one from Gonfi, obviously, securing round number 7. That was a pretty big clutch. There were a couple of those rounds up on the top floor, I think, where we saw a lot of those, you know, clutch plays that really swung the round in those dying seconds. So that was really cool to see. Kansan had one big one here. Yeah, that one was pretty nuts.
I don't know, man. eUnited winning that first map. I mean, you and I, we both thought the map pool was in favor of the Soniqs, but Yeti getting that final kill, Alfama leading the way. I mean, just this team, they're doing everything right at the moment, Jackie.
Oh my god, Intero talking so much smack to you, Valley. Just like, well, looks like Valley was wrong.
No, I said eUnited 2-0. I don't know what Intero's now I'm playing. I love eUnited. Actually, I'm really happy that they're doing well. Like, honestly, Soniqs on paper before Stage 2 started, they were supposed to beat them, but right now, I mean, it's a different story.
Yeah, we all love an underdog story. We all love a comeback story, and it's nice to see that eUnited is doing as well as they are. But the three of us were talking, and there's a lot of pressure right now. The loser of this game will not go to the U.S. Division Finals. They will not be auto-invited to the major. They can still win at the qualifier, though, but, you know, still not awesome. And then there's a possibility of relegation. You know, they're feeling all this right now, Veli. You do not want to lose today.
I mean, that kind of shows why. We're starting to see all these weird, operator bans and all these cool strategies. And plus, the gameplay is starting to rise a lot more on the United side. There's everything that they're doing is right, like I said during the replays, but it's the minute things as well, just the small things. For instance, I know Jesse wanted to talk about it, but I'm going to steal it right now. The Yeti Kai tricking, the stop meeting hash from opening was outrageous. That changed the pace of that round forever. But not just that, it's the fact that eUnited, they were able to get the fragments that we talked so much about in Stage 1, Slevin, Golfi, Iconic, to 1 kill or less, basically, especially when you take out that 3K that Golfi had at the beginning of the map with Ash. To be able to shut down players of that caliber, yes, we get it, they started on defense, but they're just fantastic right now. You would have to be a hater to not give them credit for what they're doing. They're special.
For sure. I think there were so many like little things we saw from United in that first half particularly. There was that aggressive play by Rexon really early in the map where he got spotted, and they had that like insense, that game sense to really go hard and push aggressive to get a bunch of kills at the start there. There were some more kills at the end. Kansan cleaning up that round right at the end. Not the final round, but the one before the final round to get the plant down and get those kills. That was really impressive on the Dorms bomb site. There were just so many of these little things that you look at a United and you're like, wow, people weren't doing that in Stage 1 for this team. That's really good to see.
And we heard our casters talking about this a bit, the ban of Zofia, and Jesse, I wanted to pick your brain about this. It did seem like both teams seemed to struggle with that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Zofia ban was never really experimented with in Stage 1. It's being brought out here for the first time in Stage 2, being banned out by eUnited. And that was really cool to see because it really changes the game. And we talk all the time about how impactful Zofia can be. Because of her utility, she brings flashbangs, she brings a bunch of soft destruction, I should say, to deal with shields and evil eyes and all the utility that the defense have. And the casters went on about it rightfully so because it did have a huge impact. And Oregon's already the most defender-sided map we have in the pool in North America. Then you ban out that Zofia, who takes fragging power off the board, who takes utility off of the board, and the attackers really struggle. And I think we saw that here. And a lot of this map did come down to, well, which teams can adapt to this? Which teams can play without eUnited? Or without Zofia, I should say, and eUnited banning her definitely had a little bit better of a time, but even they struggled without Zofia.
Yeah, Sonic struggled against Malusi's Banshees, and I think Zofia being out of that lineup was the reason for that.
All right, and let's get to our community poll because the results are in, gentlemen. The question was, will eUnited take a map on Sonics after putting up a hard-fought match against Space Station? Veli thought it was just gonna be
Okay.
a 2-0, but actually,
Hey,
like, look
Jackie.
at, I know, I'm
People were
kidding,
watching.
Veli, I'm kidding. But this poll result was actually impressive to me. 73% for eUnited. So there you go, folks. There you go. Well, man, what are we thinking coming up here, gentlemen? Is eUnited gonna do this in 2, Veli?
eUnited's getting their first win, baby. It's gonna be a celebration.
Oh my
I can't
gosh,
wait.
get that
Alright,
out of
this is so cringy. I thought it was funny, but you know what though? I'm excited. eUnited can get their first win this season. All they need is one more map, and Consulate is the only one that they need to top. I don't want them to go to map 3. I do not want them to give the Soniqs motivation in any way.
I don't even know what Veli said because I'm just so distracted by the snow, confetti, whatever is
It's
happening
confetti.
over there. Okay, the confetti. Jesse, you said eUnited, so I'm assuming you're sticking with your pick?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this was United's map pick that we're coming into now. They just won on Soniqs map pick. This is a map that they just won last week. They looked really good on it. It's new for their map pool, but they showed that they can play it last week against Space Station. So I'm expecting a really good showing from United once again on Consulate.
All right.
Go Alfama.
Jesse, I mean, where's your confetti graphic here? Like,
I don't.
Get it
come on,
together,
step
Somebody
up your
told me to
game.
step to bring
Seriously.
that. I'm sorry.
Oh my goodness. But okay, gentlemen, our casters are ready. Kixon and Taro are on hand, ready to go and get map 2 Consulate started. So I'm going to hand it over to them. Kix and Taro, take it away.
All right, I am really excited here, Michael, to get things underway with this matchup. I got to tell you right now, eUnited look pretty powerful, Michael, just as powerful as the Predator 700 laptop that I got sent to me. So thank you very much there for this wonderful piece of tech. Really appreciate it. I hope you like my segue, Michael.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome, Parker. As
Thanks,
the kids
Michael.
would say, it was pog.
I'm more of a poggers kind of guy.
Whoa. Okay. Well, let's not get into that battle. But yeah, great laptop. I think I have the 500. So obviously that means they don't like me as much as they like you, Parker, which I understand that. We had this conversation last time.
Literally verbatim.
Yes. I empathize with that, to be honest. So all that done now, we actually have the map ready. It is going to be Consulate, Soniqs on attack, eUnited on defense. All the stuff is ready. Ban phase is about to begin, so we'll go ahead and jump right into it. eUnited get to ban first. I wonder if their ban phase will be verbatim from the last map. I doubt it. Consulate's a little bit different. So we can anticipate some differences here. Parker, I have to ask you. Oh, wow. No. Okay. It was Zofia again. Parker, I have to ask you. Do you remember?
The
21st of September?
September.
Yep. I had to do it at least once. It's done now.
I do. Oh, and look we're talking about verbatim, Michael.
It's the same, Parker. But will the defensive bans be the same? That's the question. I mean,
Will
Valkyrie,
Mai and Valk on Consulate?
Valkyrie will be banned.
Yeah.
And will Mai... It'll be Valkyrie. For sure, it's going to be Valkyrie. It's Consulate. You have to ban Valkyrie.
These bans did not work out so well for the Sonics, so we'll see here.
Oh!
Pulse!
Left turn into Pulse ban from Valkyrie. That means Valkyrie is alive and well on Consulate of all maps. This is one of her best maps, period. Yeah, you can expect her to be played at least a few times. The Pulse ban's quite interesting. Definitely a targeted ban there from eUnited. I'm going to go ahead and check out the stats for Pulse or Soniqs because I'm going to get some more information on why that is.
I would appreciate it if you could crunch those numbers for me, Michael.
Doing it right now, Parker. So they do... Oh.
Good. No, please proceed.
They actually... Doesn't look like they play Pulse all that much. Yeah, they've brought him a few times here. They play him a decent chunk when he's available on Consulate specifically. But he's not like their most successful op, so I don't know if that's a... I mean, it's going to make defending archives more difficult. I will say that. As far as sites go, it's going to make holding archives a lot more difficult, and that is the Soniqs' #1 bomb site, is where they go most frequently. And it's actually their most successful bomb site as well as their most failed bomb site because they play it more than any other bomb site on this map. So that was probably why the eUnited banned Pulse. If you don't know, Pulse is an operator that enables defending archives. That's how this all ties together.
It's true. I was trying to think of a joke about how everybody needs a pulse, as in
Yeah.
they'd perish, but
Right. I mean, it
yeah, it
makes
just wasn't.
sense.
It wasn't there.
It's a very clinical joke. Yes.
All right, so a lobby defense. And with the Zofia and Pulse banned out, eUnited will once again not be playing Echo. Neither will the Soniqs. There was a gentleman's agreement that Echo would not be played, because he is in a spot where sometimes his drones are unkillable. So clearly the teams are not eager to bring him into the fray, and that because of that, they have a free ban, which is what was used on Valkyrie in the previous game and now is being employed on Pulse. And yes, you're right. When Teller's Archives does, when it does rear its head, which it will, we're going to see a different C4 operator, probably maybe Mira, Kaid, something along those lines.
Probably, yeah. So far, actually, honestly, the operators are pretty normal right now, but see how that all changes, of course. Early on here, nothing really happening. Some droning, some probing. They're trying to figure out what's going on by Piano. It looks like the Soniqs want to pinch Piano. It's not an easy site to take. You'll have to do some pressure work upstairs. You have to make sure none of the defenders are in CEO, because they can use the drop and the floor to just deny a plant from above. Nade from below. Oh, this could be big, but he moves in the last second. And then Nade doesn't land on Kansan. In fact, he gets easily the game sense on this man. I mean, not really. He's just got really lucky on the timing. He'll be eliminated by Iconic inside of Mez, and that's a great pick there for the Soniqs, but it came at a higher cost than they anticipated, and the eUnited keep themselves very much in this round.
Very much could have been another pick there, but Kansan was just rotating the wrong way on the window, moving one way while Iconic was moving on the other. And Kansan, you need to give him some props for how often he is involved in the opening duels. I feel like that Maestro with the Alda in hand is getting at least 3 kills on almost every defense, which is quite impressive. Yeti picks up kill number 2 for eUnited. Now Grixer will pick up number 3, leaving eUnited in a very powerful position. Rexon, one of his own. All it's going to take is Alfama to get one, and it's a team ace. Yeti botches that shot, so Gomfi will scamper away with 45 seconds, 40 seconds left. A team ace would be kind of neat.
It would be. Who's missing the kill right now on eUnited?
Alfama is the only one missing the kill right now. So you gotta cross your fingers for the smoke to see if he's able to do this. Meanwhile, Gomfi's in a 1v4. The diffuser is a country mile away. Up top, the sledge is trying to hunt somebody down. This is a virtually unwinnable round for the Soniqs, but at least they can take as much time as they want. Down goes Rexon. Immediately looking towards yellow stairs is Gomfi, but he's on a bulletproof camera and he's got 10 seconds left, as you can hear. There's no way he's going to be able to kill 3 people. Nobody's going to give it to him. Yeti pops out. So at least eUnited does decide to take the fight. Alfama hid, so no team ace, and eUnited takes the very first round on Consulate.
Yeah, it doesn't, it's still nice. Yeti picks up the 2-piece there. eUnited, solid defense. I'd say if that initial nade from below, Gomfi, he had been able to land that, very different story in that round. Kansan wouldn't have gotten his first pick. In fact, he would have been the first pick for the nade below. And then I imagine the Soniqs would have still had heavy presence on Repel. Probably would have continued their pinch onto Piano, maybe gone for a plant. Especially with the Maestro Evilize disabled, that would have been a big thing if they had full manpower. But it just doesn't work out like that. eUnited, solid defense. Kansan, we talked about how he's always present in those early picks and in the positive respect, and he has been a continuing positive presence overall, not just in the initial picks, but as a player for eUnited since joining this team. And I think eUnited's got to be really happy with that, by the way. I mean, you're always taking a risk when you pick up a new player, especially one that I think is as untested as Kansan. Like Rexon's a known quantity, right? We all know Rexon. It's understandable why he would make his way onto this roster. Kansan a little bit less known, but he's so far given nothing but positive impressions since he joined eUnited about a month ago or so. So, that's good for eUnited. I'm sure they're very happy with that. I think sometimes when you get this kind of surge in talent on your roster, it can kind of instill in you the thought that we can be better than we've ever been before. And I think eUnited are proving that in their recent matches.
I suspect that they're also having a lot of fun. This was a team that seemed like they were having fun even when they were in the, their death throes on the previous stage. So I would hazard a guess that they are probably having a much better time now that they're actually doing better. That'd be my guess, at least. And if you are eUnited and you are looking to try to make a climb, you will need to beat teams that are often seen as your equal. Now, heading into this match, I don't know how many people credibly could have argued that Soniqs, with their potential, were on the same footing as eUnited, but we are obviously seeing a very different game than would be played on paper. And, well, it's probably why we actually play them in the server rather than just speculating, Michael.
That's really good use of those Ash charges. Actually, both Evil Eyes destroyed and at no serious expense. That's very curious. Typically, those Evil Eyes will be leveraged for more utility burn, but not this time. It was 1 stun, 2 Ash charges. Now there's no direct denial besides the C4 and the gas canisters. That's very dangerous for eUnited and good, efficient utility work for the Soniqs. If you didn't know, those Evil Eyes were placed on the floor of the garage and can easily deny a plant in the garage proper when the execution comes. Speaking of, here it comes, and the kills are going both ways. Soniqs, though, with decent entry as they'll come out ahead and start their plant. Gas canisters and C4s are missing. Gomfy will get Grixer as well as he rotates, and there's the post plant. Iconic up close, and he'll get one. Gomfy by Yellow Soda, he'll get the other. And the Soniqs pick up a very succinct round.
They were all on the same page, and they had completely locked out eUnited. Now, I don't know how much of that falls on the shoulders of those that were doing the discovery work, and of course the discovery comes in the hands of those with the drones, and then the callouts that come from that as well. And a team like the Soniqs should have really no problem with succinct comms, and even though we don't get the same videos that we get from the Soniqs that we do from Dark Zero to know how tip-top those comms are, all you need to do is just watch them play ranked or on stream, and you know that they're pretty good at being able to convey what they see, find that information, and then allow the rest of the team to work off of it. eUnited crumpling after that initial push. Both panels of the garage get opened up, and then they cleaved to the middle of the site and isolated 2 members of eUnited towards the back. And then the remaining members of Soniqs took their gunfights after the diffuser went down and easily managed to get in and then get out without nobody really caring that he was getting that diffuser down. And obviously that was the undoing of eUnited. A lot of confidence on the Soniqs part. They hit their shots. They knew exactly how they wanted to entry, and things worked out quite well. Problem is, though, and we've talked about this at length, is that when your engagement involves just taking a 50-50 gunfight and there's very limited utility involved, or you're not flanking or distracting, or you're playing off of a drone, etc. If it's just, hey, let's see if he peeks me, we often refer to those as 50-50 for a reason, and it's because you don't always win it. You lose 1 or 2 of those, the entire round's pendulum swings the other way. So, who knows? I mean, you in a couple gunfights, maybe eUnited hold out, but ultimately, the Sonic strat was quite sound.
So this is interesting, guys and gals. We've got a top floor defense from eUnited. This is currently so far out of meta that it's become like hot potato. Nobody wants to have it. Nobody wants to go here. This has been a site shunned by the comp community, and it's because of its low success rate for the defense. It's actually really hard to defend these days. Now, because of the Pulse ban, you can't really go archives comfortably, which means I guess you're going back to CEO, which is awkward, but hey, there it is. Slebin up on Yellow, and he's got Iconic coming in through the bathroom rappel, who picks up 2 big kills. That's massive for the Soniqs. They get Yellow control, and that will allow them to leverage CEO control, where Easley is on rappel, waiting for his opportunity to spring in. He'll wait for a few more picks, though. Gomfy trades out Yeti, who was pushing up Yellow. That's bad that Slebin got eliminated, but it doesn't really matter with this man count being so strongly in the favor of Soniqs. Grixer using his gas canisters well to deny the crossfire, but he's got to deny the plant as well. Just doesn't see the rappel in, an inch off, nay, a centimeter. Super also gets cans in. It's looking pretty bad for Grixer and eUnited as a whole. The coverage on the plant is strong, and there goes the final defender. The Soniqs with a very, once again, concise round.
That's 2 rounds in a row where the Soniqs have not been slowed down at all. They just barge in, they take control of the bomb site, and that's that. This time they beat their previous record, and obviously trying to race down the clock is their greatest challenge. As through those 2 rounds, eUnited was not a challenge at all. To be able to swing in the bathroom, to be able to take control of yellow, to be able to swing in with the confidence that you have to that CEO desk, as we saw, not to mention the confidence that easily displayed when he got the diffuser down on the previous bomb site down in garage. I don't know what's changed with the Soniqs, but boy, they are playing like a very different team than what we saw on Oregon, and that isn't supposed to be how it works. Oregon was the Soniqs map pick. It shouldn't have been as comfortable a match as it was for eUnited, and yet still the Soniqs faltered an awful lot. They seem to have regained their composure, and now Consulate is already a more competitive map than Oregon was at almost any point. It's still early, though. It's possible that the Soniqs can run away with this, or eUnited ends up winning a huge portion of the next couple rounds, and then the competitiveness falls away. But that's where we're at right now. And I wonder how much of it is, like we talked about many, many times, it was a very defender-heavy map on Oregon. The Zofia ban makes a big difference on Oregon. On Consulate, this is a much more linear map. You can take gunfights a little bit differently. The Soniqs are doubling up on their hard destruction, which is not really common, to be honest, on Consulate. So that in and of itself is a little bit strange to see.
Certainly so. I mean, this has been a really odd Consulate as a whole. I think it's, I don't know. I'm going to mostly say it has to do with the pulse ban. That's just, I mean, we saw the ban phase in the last map be significant in how everything played out. And it's, once again, being quite important. It's the pulse ban. It's the lack of a Valkyrie ban. Curiously, no Valkyrie being brought here by United, at least this round, didn't really help them last round. The information was there, but it didn't result in won gunfights. This round in particular, it's an admin clear for the Soniqs. They're going to start working their way towards Projector, where Yeti lies in wait. It's gonna be hard to dislodge Yeti from this corner. That's why he plays here. You can effectively cut off the half of mark on the top floor from this one spot, preventing a push through long desk and top Visa stairs. Since Spiral is kind of a non-existent push lane, that's a lot of ground covered. C4 is caught midair there by Slevin. He shoots it before it can detonate. And as a result, Yeti will actually fall back. As we hit the half round mark, that's an appropriate time to retreat.
And this is one of the slower rounds that's been played so far. Mind you, we're only in round number 4, but the Soniqs have set a very nice pace so far against eUnited, and it's forced eUnited back on their back foot or on their heel, depending on how you want to go with it. Was that a nitro cell that just did not go from Yeti? No target whatsoever being hit as the Soniqs remain at full HP, 500 between them. You can see Iconic leading the way on this team, by the way, not just in terms of utility, but also in terms of killing. And Slevin is there with a great shot to take down Yeti, dispatching the one defender that was playing upstairs in Piano. More damage being done to Gomfy, though, as there's some spam marks on the Grixer. He's finished off, and Slevin finds 2 kills. So the Soniqs, that tempo that we talked about them setting, that pace, well, it took them about 30 to 40 seconds, but here it is.
I think that was, that's going to be a nice shot there for Alfalma, but he actually doesn't land it. Rexon's the one picking up the kills upstairs as he somehow is still alive in bathroom. Explosively, he gets himself out of there, and now he's looking for more kills as we're almost done with this round. It looked like the Soniqs were going to be able to take this clear and turn it into a round win, but Rexon says no, not that easily. Another kill for Slevin as he vaults the rail. That's his 3rd, looking for the 4th through the wall, but he's not going to land the shots, and he'll finally be shut down by Rexon, who gets his own 3rd, who gets shut down in turn by Super, coming alive in Kitchen and winning the round for his team in the nick of time. The Soniqs will clutch up big and keep their hopes alive.
Really impressive stuff from the Soniqs. Now through 3 rounds, and you can see Super's getting in on it. He's very happy and animated as he tries to rally the team. Man, what do you think it is with Consulate? Because
I don't know.
I mean, eUnited against Space Station lost this map, but they came close 5-7. It was their pick, as it is their pick this time as well against the Soniqs. But we are in Bizarro world where eUnited wins Oregon, which was the Soniqs map choice. And now the Soniqs are primed to do the same on eUnited's map.
It's been a weird one, Parker. I certainly agree with you. I don't think that these are the results that we expect. You know as well as I do, though. We have these matches sometimes where teams exchange each other's map results. Where you'd think that Team A, since they picked map X, would be better on map X, but in fact it's Team B who's better on map X, and then vice versa once we get to the next one. But I mean, here we are. It's the opposite. It's been interesting so far. The one thing that I want to know is that it's strange that it has to do so directly with the maps, right? Because I'll be real with you. I'm seeing two totally different squads than the map prior, and you can attribute a lot to a map and team's preference on that map. But is it really so drastic that the Sonics are playing this much more confidently?
I mean, Michael, it seems like the answer is yes, man. Like they're.
It's
like,
weird,
come on.
Parker. It's weird.
Like, come on, answer your own questions, Michael.
I asked the question because the answer seems obvious, but it's such a weird answer, you know?
Well, Michael, you must be in the VoIP server for eUnited because they said, "Oh man, we didn't run a Valkyrie," and Kick said that we could run a Valkyrie. So Kansan is on the Valk and tosses out a Valk cam as well as a Nitro cell, shrugs off a grenade, and now on the upside down rappel will be challenged by what appears to be Iconic. This was a fight that could very easily have been won by the Sonics, who have so far split that opening kill with eUnited. But Kansan doesn't need to take the engagement.
Ooh.
First blood goes to the Sonics. It ultimately ends up being Sleben, as that's a wonderful crossfire established. Sleben might be able to actually crawl away to safety as now he gets downed. He's the only member of Sonics that isn't upright. Easily is planting inside a piano right now. He's in the midst of the smoke, but he'll be able to stick this one out. Iconic dropped and easily gets away with murder once again. His objective play is fantastic. He takes down Alfama now too, and it's Rexon in a 1v4. Technically a 1v3 as Sleben is down for the count, and now easily will join him. But Diffuser might as well be miles away. Nobody from the Sonics needs to pick up Sleben. He can just be a drone. Damage done to Rexon, and he has no idea where Gomfy is. Surprise! He's in the middle of the lobby. 4-1 for the Sonics. What a walloping they are giving to eUnited, and they have won the first half.
It's like we swapped roles. Did the teams change their names? Map number 1, eUnited. Absolute domination on the Sonics map. Map number 2, you think it'd be over, but no, the decisiveness here from the Sonics. They're winning these rounds in the first 40 seconds. Insanity. Beautiful stuff there on the execution. They pinched the anchors so beautifully. 2 early picks, 1 for Sleben, playing a long angle on rappel through the window, able to take down a player deep by bathroom. And then you saw Kansan, he gets stressed out. He's like, I don't want to be here anymore. Walks into the main lobby where there's another player on the Sonics waiting with open arms, saying, yes, pick, come straight to me. Sonics gets 2 early for free, basically, just playing on rappel. And then at that point, I mean, the execution comes in. It is a little bit flubbed. I'll be real with you guys. The execution was kind of awkward. Let's be honest. The Habana walked into Mez, got blinded by the Ying. The Ying gets the plant, but just barely. eUnited almost saves that. But it doesn't matter. Why does it not matter? Because of the unanswered picks earlier in the round, and because of the swiftness that the Sonics took control after those picks. They didn't linger. They didn't wait for eUnited to get refrags. They're like, nah, we're going now. Beautiful stuff from the Sonics so far on Consulate. What is that?
That's Grixer doing Grixer things. Somebody who has seemingly come alive on this team, and he's been overshadowed, I think, by both Kansan as well as Rexon. But Grixer was always one of the most consistent players in terms of how he played. Never really flashy, but obviously you'd have Alfama and Yeti doing a lot of killing on the old eUnited roster, and then they played a little bit safer and smarter, and now it's been Rexon and Kansan stealing the show for the first game, and well, kind of continuing on now as well. But Grixer is more than capable of topping the charts, and I think a lot of people in North America have been waiting to see Grixer fully loaded, and now we're finally seeing it.
So 2 C4s used on that garage panel. Neither of them land. Easily took a little bit of damage, but not really enough for it to matter. Kansan and Grixer still have some C4. Rexon will get iconic as he attempts to rush in solo with his Candelas. I get it, you know, the Candelas can help you out, but not enough in that situation. Super will get 2 big kills from Lockers. Super's really been coming alive on this Nomad as of late, and he actually just brought this round back almost single-handedly, gave Soniqs a chance, and Gomphy is going to make it even better, but he is snuffed swiftly for his flame can burn too large. It's not over yet for either squad. Good peek here, but Super gets one on Banana before Kansan gets that refrag. Now Easily has control of the site, and he knows where his opponent is. A minute to plant. He'll use a stun to deter Kansan from the kitchen door. And it's going to be a post plant now for Kansan. He has to retake his own bomb site. Got a lot of time to do it, but he's just been called out on that drone. Post plant here Easily just needs to play his life. Ooh, Kansan might have an idea of his opponent's location, and he does! Beautiful shot from Kansan! Easily a chance wasted, and eUnited keep themselves in contention. 4-2, still favored to the Soniqs, but that shot from Kansan could be the major difference maker in the second half.
That was the right play by Easily to pop on up after the intel was given as well. You knew that you had to go for that fight. He shot the drone. He didn't necessarily know where Easily was, and he was obviously prone by the rotate hole in the back of kitchen by that overturned table, and he was relatively safe there, but the problem is that he's prone, and the moment he goes to get up, he's going to make a lot of noise. He's going to un-ADS, and he's probably going to lose that gunfight. So, honestly, that whole round was just a complete and utter mess, but a beautiful mess, and one that was fun to watch. That first should not have been the Soniqs coming back, and then they do, because of Mr. Super Sonic himself. And then they trade down and they whittle it away. And it goes to show you the value of trading out through the mid-round and towards the end of the round when teams do trade back and forth. That's why it's so critical to get one of those first opening picks. I mean, there's a number of reasons why, but that's just an additional one. Easily pulls off the plant as he has done 4 times by my count on attack so far. That is an impressive tally for somebody on objective. But now the Soniqs have a tougher task, which is to go on to defense. Now, Consulate is a relatively balanced map and has been historically a map that tends to seesaw between attacker and defender based upon the operator bans and based upon the meta. Right now, you would think that it's leaning towards attackers. I think that's perfectly valid based on what we've seen. But the one question that will be answered after a round or two is, were the Soniqs just hot and they seem to come to play on Consulate, or is this really an attacker-sided map?
That is the question, right? And it's the same question we asked in map number 1. I think we're going to continue on wondering here for a while longer, because the way that these teams have been playing is hard to pin down. Hard to lock up and be like, oh yeah, this is how it's going to be for the remainder of the match. Lots of twists and turns going on. Now, this round's going to be a basement defense for the Soniqs. And what? 3 ADS? Okay. All right. 3 ADS is on the drone hole. Interesting stuff. And they determined that, yes, indeed, if you're counting, all 3 are there. And I bet you eUnited's like, what? Why? Oh, no, they didn't count it. Why didn't they count it? Nade goes down. Viewjammer's still there. So another stun used. Way more utility used on this drone hole than was necessary. They finally get the mute jammers. That is hilarious. The impact trick does not work for the Maestro, despite Super attempting it. May as well go for that, right? That's such a strange setup from the Soniqs, but it works out so well for the defense.
eUnited had to burn an awful lot just to make that work, so I think it was worthwhile. Unorthodox can play out quite effectively. Look at the utility. eUnited right now, they have only 1 Ash charge left as another's just been used. Only 1 flashbang on Rexon. 0 flashbangs on Kansan. 0 grenades on Yeti. 0 flashes on Alfama. They are very utility starved right now. They've got the 3 breaches on Grixer, because I guess you're not going to bring a Claymore here because you got the Nomad. there's not really a lot of things that eUnited can do except for take fights. I mean, they've opened up the garage, which is good. But then if you compare it to the Soniqs, they've still got 2 impact grenade, or they've still got 2 C4s available, including what could be 2 Maestro cams for all we know, because one of the grenades had to be used earlier on. They've also got easily killing Grixer, so yet again, an opening duel breaking in favor of the Soniqs on their very first defense. Time is ticking away as eUnited is in the process of stalling out, but a very confident entry from Yeti as he swats away one member of the Soniqs, but then gets punished, and Gomfy comes into play. Easily taken out now, but still an advantage for the Soniqs in terms of man count. 20 seconds left, and they look to stretch their lead. Gomfy playing off of the back of White Van, just waiting very patiently, as eUnited are not anywhere near close enough to being able to pull this off. And they'll have to grab the diffuser as well. Missed opportunity from Rexon as Gomfy picks up kill number 3, if I remember, and then Sleben finishes it off. The Soniqs are making up for lost time after that Oregon match, and they are looking mighty dominant as they take their very first defense here on Consulate.
Big round there for the Soniqs. As you said, Parker, in the midst of it, the first defensive round for SQ, and it looked awful solid there. With that, it would suggest that we're going to get that map number 3, but it's with these teams, I feel like it's too early to call. Now, importantly, and I didn't actually see, I want to say, though, that one of those Evil Eyes persisted through the round. I saw one of them get destroyed by an Ash charge. I don't know if the other one did. I can't say definitively because we didn't see it play in that round, but no matter what, the hard destruction, or not hard destruction, sorry, the explosive soft destruction, or Explo, was pretty limited by the defense, thanks to that ADS placement. And you know, when you see 3 ADSs stacked on top of each other, you're like, well, that's stupid. But it worked out so well for the Soniqs in that round. The attack burned way more than it needed to. 1 extra flash, 1 nade on those ADSs. Beautiful stuff. And it's because United's like, surely they only put 2 ADSs on the drone hole, but it was in fact 3. As the story goes. Now, it's going to be a top roam here for the Soniqs to try and assist the middle floor defense. This is a delay tactic that is commonly used. They'll cut off by projector, and you'll have a roamer in CEO and bathroom who can play long angles to assist the player in projector. The player in projector will typically be an SAS operator. That's Gomfy. He'll be the one playing there. And from this position, he can use his SMG-11 to deny a plant in the main lobby, as well as use his shotgun to hard hold the top of Vista stairs, and his C4 to kill anyone who attempts to challenge him from the balcony. Air jab burnt early on, but it's actually a terrible idea, as it turns out. United pick up 2 free kills. And that's a gift from the Soniqs to eUnited. eUnited, I'm sure, very happy.
For people that don't know why they did that, when both of you hop out, only one of you ends up getting knocked over. The other one is obviously right there, and, well, the Soniqs decided to remove their brains from their skull on this round. Sometimes it works a surprising amount of times. We used to call it the eUnited strat, actually. But eUnited now playing a much more composed attack, and they are letting SQ just come to them whenever they want. Easily and Super are probably not stoked to be in this set of circumstances, but here they are with over half of the round to go, and all that's been done to eUnited is Kansan losing 75% of his health. That's the story for them. Other than that, you don't really have a lot. Nitro Cell almost gets tossed out, but that's a miss from Easily. This is not a good round for the Soniqs. Another Nitro Cell will go out, this one from Super, but they are just burning through this round as eUnited looks to burn through the clock. I mean, unless eUnited totally blows this round is over.
There it is. Flawless round, eUnited. Yeah, so it all started with that balcony run out. The timing was bad on the vault. The first burning player, I think, vaulted, and then the second player, who was supposed to kill the Nomad on Repel, vaulted right after. But either he got knocked down or he just didn't see his opponent, whatever the case be. Soniqs lose 2 on the balcony. And in that position, when you're down 3-5 and there's so much time left for the attack, you need to make aggro plays in order to get the manpower back in your favor. So somewhere else, by CEO or Yellow, another defender tries to run out, dies. And then it's just constant, continued aggression from the Soniqs because they have no other option, because they need refrags. And, well, it results in a pretty one-sided affair. You could call that a fluke round, to be fair, but it's still a win. eUnited's not complaining.
What it did really was push the Sonics goalposts a little bit farther back because they could very easily have been on match point. And I mean, a 6-2 scoreline is pretty decent domination, to be fair. Obviously, we've seen better scorelines for other teams, but this is what I said way back when. I thought we were going to see 3 maps, and I thought that the maps weren't going to be that close. I just want to be right. Unlike Veli. That's all I want. The best part is that Veli's sitting here in this channel, and he gets to listen to me, and he unmuted his mic and then remuted it without saying a word. I saw that. I saw your...
He wanted to say something, but he's a consummate professional.
Yeah, that's we'll call him that. I'm trying to goad him into a response, and he's not going to give it to me. So
no, he's not. He can't justify the distraction during the cast. And I don't think you guys would be able to. You guys and gals would be able to
they
hear
wouldn't
him.
be able to hear him at all, but we can hear him.
Yeah.
Would you like to read it?
No, you go ahead.
He
He
typed in our caster chat, "I'm dying,"
in all
like
caps.
as in like of laughter.
Yeah.
Not literally.
We didn't. No, he's fine. He's gonna be okay. In fact, he's better than fine. He's fantastic.
I just want to banter at the same level that Zach does from DZ. That's all.
Yeah, dude. He's got some killer ones. Yeah, for sure.
So, I got the last laugh. He followed me on Twitter when I complained on Twitch. So that's all I wanted.
So that's a lesson learned for all you kids out there. If you complain about something enough, you will get your way always and forever.
Yeah.
Can you smell the sarcasm on my voice?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I can actually. Anyway.
Yeah.
So, eUnited won the previous round and kept it a little bit closer, and it is a lobby defense yet again. Things are a little bit different this time. First, the Sonics are not going to hop out of a window and then decide to take needless fights. But what this is doing is causing eUnited to be a lot more careful in how they want to engage, and you can see that they are circling the wagons around Projector, where Gomfi is. Gomfi is on basically 1 HP as Rexon has been taken out. And eUnited are just moments away from being able to strike. But there's a shotgun barrel aimed chest level at the doorway that will stop anybody in their tracks unless they decide to pre-fire. And he's going to get droned out. There goes a Nitro cell. Super with one on the Grixer. Yeti taking damage, but they swing. And it's just a mess on the kill feed as everybody gets in on the fun. Half of the server is dead with a minute to go. An eUnited trail in man count.
Yeah, that's not great for EU. The Sonics are looking pretty solid, and you could see after that complete mess, as you mentioned, the defense just fell back. And rightfully so. I mean, you've got the time advantage now, 30 seconds. You got the man advantage as well. Don't give any 1v1s to the remaining attackers. Don't let them bring this back. And that's what Sonics are prioritizing. Great use of the Wub Wub there for Sleben as Alfalma goes down by Yellow Soda. It's all on Kanzan, one of the newest players here on eUnited, and he'll go down to Iconic. He's trying, but there's too many angles to play. And the Sonics will take yet another round, bringing us ever closer to that match point. This is looking like the start of that map number 3, as we've been saying throughout this map.
Just as the doctor ordered, the Sonics find themselves, at this point, being able to run it out unless they need overtime, in which case, once again, for those of you that haven't been following since the start, every map today, eUnited will be starting on defense. The Sonics will be starting on attack. Every map, by the way. Even the ones they don't play in. When it comes to overtime, the Sonics will be on defense twice, with eUnited on defense once in overtime. And that is for every single map, so it's very easy to remember, I promise. It's not like, well, in the 4th week, eUnited starts on defense on overtime, and then the next match they're on attack, Michael. No, none of that. None of that crazy stuff.
No. Thankfully.
But the Sonics are showing that they are very well coordinated, and this is, right now, what we expected, or at least what I expected, because I don't want to speak for others. This is what I expected to see out of the Sonics at the start of this stage. I thought they were going to be very sharp on attack. They have lots of fragging power on attack. They've got what we've referred to as spears in the past. In this case, the Sonics have Iconic, Gomfi, and Sleben, all 3 of who are capable of dominating a game, and they're usually very consistent.
10 seconds to go.
As you can see from the score sheet, Sleben and Gomfy, as well as Iconic, actually, they're all having a pretty good game. Super and Easily are lagging in terms of kills, which is the way it should be if everything is going according to plan for the Sonics. So hats off to them. That's where they want to be right now. But the Sonics looked like they had a lot of signs of promise. They took the fight to Dark Zero. They came one round away from making it to the mini major in North America. Everybody was overhyping them, maybe. I was not. I think that they are a damn good team, and I think that they are capable of achieving top 4 in North America. They need to play more, obviously, like they have been on Consulate. They had a bit of a slow start on Oregon. They've made up for time here on Consulate. Villa remains the tiebreaker if needed, which seems like a certainty at this point.
It certainly does, Parker. But this is the best attack round we've seen on the bottom floor from eUnited thus far. Look at that. 1 minute, not even 1 minute used, and they've already got control of the top 2 floors. All the roamers pushed down, and now all the anchors are being opened up on from above. That's going to be very difficult for the defense to handle moving forward. Things could get dangerous here for the defense, for Sonics. Because now the explosives start to rain up and down, go back and forth to try and get picks for each team. One mirror window dealt with. That's the one in Kitchen, I believe. That can be easily accessed from above. And yes, indeed, it's now open. That makes Kitchen even harder to defend and play in. And look at that. No anchors near the garage. As soon as eUnited opens up that garage panel, which they already have, they have direct access and an opportunity to go for a plant. Easily is going to be the main player tasked with denying the plant with his 3 gas canisters. He has to be very vigilant and very smart on the timing of those gas canisters, or his team will suffer the consequences.
I believe the Evil Eyes have been taken out, and I don't know if the Banshees, which you called Wub-Wubs, by the way, I don't know how they are faring either, whether they're still strewn about the bomb site. Kansan gets the opening pick onto Iconic, so you are down 1, and it's the Maestro. So not only are those Evil Eye cams locked in place, but you've lost the Alda, and you've lost Iconic, who has been showing that he is capable of taking his rightful place on the score sheet. Yet he trades off Alfama as he'd lost his teammate, and the Sonics, if they continue to trade down, will eventually be bled out on this map. Oh, but this is aggressiveness that does not pay off as Sleben decides to try a fight against the Ash, and Rexon is going to be able to pull off the diffuser. The gas canister's not working, but Gomfy lights him up in 2 big kills as he heads for the hills. Easily is down, so Gomfy will need to find the remaining 2 members of eUnited. But diffuser down means that it will be an even greater challenge. Inside a piano, Yeti is there, and he is immaculate in that spot as he absolutely plays the Sonics. eUnited still very much alive. They are looking to close this gap, but it will be match point for the Sonics for the next 2 rounds.
Nah, man. The Sonics played themselves that round. I'll be blunt about it. They didn't delay or roam in any meaningful capacity whatsoever on a basement defense on Consulate. That is asking for failure. Truly, a crippling blow to the Sonics was the fact that they just let the attack walk in the first minute of the round, plant themselves in the middle floor, and start opening up above the anchors. That forces you as the defenders to do some wackadoodle things. And that's exactly what we saw happen there from the Sonics. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. But overall, the Sonics need to defend the middle floor. They need to delay at the very least. I'm not saying that the Sonics have to have a completely indestructible defense inside a bathroom and never leave it, but at least delay half the round, as is standard on this basement defense. And I think, you know, it's forgivable because there's time left for the Sonics to realize their mistake and correct the course here. But you got to be worried on a 6-4 scoreline that you're going to swerve into OT and come closer to a 2-0. So Sonics need to definitely shore things up in this round. And if they don't win this one, you can bet your bottom dollar they're going to start changing up their site selection.
Attackers are heading out to defuse a bomb.
Do or die for eUnited for the next 2 rounds. And yeah, I mean, what are the defenses now for the Sonics? It's been garage, lobby, lobby, garage, garage. So they are, like you said, they're going to need to change things up here as they would be on the very final round of regulation. This is the penultimate round of regulation. I just take every opportunity to use the word penultimate as much as I can.
It's a fun word.
It's a great word. I'm like, I can't say that I wouldn't want to use it whenever I can. I want to use it all the time.
Absolutely. Use it as much as you please, Parker. I like
Thank you. I can't stop. So
I like the way you say it too.
Thank you, Michael. You ever find yourself tripping up on certain words like cacophony? I said cacophony once. Anyway,
Really?
We'll stop. Yeah, I was very embarrassed. Rexing gets the first kill, but he technically trades with Iconic as they go 1 for 1. They literally traded, as in they shot each other, and at the same time, they both hit each other at the same time. So it's a wash as to who gets that opening pick. As we've talked about at length, Ash is now a utility operator in this crazy funhouse that is Rainbow Six Siege. As things are upside down, the Soniqs winning eUnited's map at the moment. eUnited winning the Soniqs map. We are literally in a funhouse, a house of fun, as you'd want to call it.
And it is that.
It is fun indeed, but Iconic is not as pivotal now that his gadgetry is down. The Ash is going to be crucial because Rexon was the one who was able to take out those evil eye cams. And as we just got to see, they are still very much in play. So Super will be watching them intently. Both of them are up and they're in the default spots. One watching the garage panel. Well, technically both watching the garage panels, but the other one is looking over towards the secondary panel that just got opened up by Alfama.
Now, with those panels opened up, this is a big opportunity for eUnited. They've even got the soft destruction working, but the main difference here is there's less time, and there are still roamers that could influence this round significantly. And you've got Easley on yellow stairs. He can sweep down at any moment, take out Kansan, and definitely change the course of this round. But he's going to have to time it perfectly. His play will make the major difference. Alfama going for the plant here. The Evil Eyes are obviously disabled as they're not zapping away. It's going to be a post plant if they don't do something quick, and yes, indeed, it will be. A 4v4 post plant advantage strongly in the favor of eUnited. I'm sure if you've watched this before, you know how difficult it is to retake this site. Even exchange upstairs, as you can see. Easley's flank works, but only to a certain extent, as Grixer maintains the top floor control. Gomfi and Super now twisting in the wind. No real opportunity. There's no way they'll be able to disable that diffuser. eUnited, with still 20 seconds left, are sure of their victory in this round and are going to bring it to the 6-5, no matter what the Soniqs do. Such a great plant there, just inside a garage. Grixer gets his triple kill. Maybe he can get the 4K for posterity, but no, the kill doesn't go to anyone. Super maintains his KD inside of kitchen. Really, you can't blame him though. There's honestly nothing he could do in that situation. And yeah, good on eUnited getting the plant when they had the opportunity.
Well, just like that, this match has tightened up in a hurry, and it all started, if you recall, with the Soniqs deciding to jump out of windows in round number 8. That's where the slide began. Prior to that, it was 5-2 in favor of the Soniqs. And then they went for broke. What ended up happening? 3 of them died within the first 20 seconds of the first bullet being shot, and it was a flawless round for eUnited. Lobby was won the next round by the Soniqs, but then after that, eUnited picked up the next 2 with diffuser being planted and technically getting the opening duel on both of them if you count the trade that happened, which you really shouldn't count, by the way, but if you did, technically they got it. So back to lobby they'll go since it has reopened. Success rate so far on this bomb site is 50%. So if you're the Soniqs, you are hoping that you don't go to OT. The one thing that is good is, as was mentioned earlier in this match and earlier in this map as well, is that the Soniqs will be on defense for every OT. So they will just go right back to the same setups that they're on right now. They could change things up. I do find it very curious that the Soniqs have not attempted Teller's Archives, nor have they attempted Console Office. And I will put that at the feet of the Pulse Ban. We have not seen Teller's Archives today. And I suspect that's because they do not feel comfortable playing without a very pivotal operator on a bomb site that requires most of your defenders to be turtled in the basement.
Yeah, overall, the basement has been a bad story for the Soniqs. And there's a lot of layers. Look, they tried to roam. They tried not roaming. They tried various operators. No matter what, it just wasn't working out. So now they're just, yeah, they're going to go to middle floor. I get it. I would do the same thing in this situation. I think that, you know, you're one round away now from OT. As you said, Parker, you need to avoid that OT possibility. it's completely demoralizing to come so close to absolute victory and then end up having to work your way through those OT rounds. So Soniqs, this is desperation at this point. This is, oh heck, oh heck, oh heck. Really want to make sure that this goes through for us. Top 4 roam is going to be another delay factor. Time has been super significant for both of these squads. And this top 4 roam, its success or failure could spell out the result of the rest of the round.
Time being wasted, and nobody really from eUnited getting close enough to strike. As we see a whole host of outlines by the yellow stairs, but that's Grixer, Yeti, and Alfama all squared up, and they'll go on to drones, and with it, Discovery will follow. You need to take command of that second floor as quickly as you can, and that was where eUnited were able to thrive previously, but then they bunched up around Projector, and well, Gomfy, if you remember, was able to waste so much time playing in that particular spot. He could possibly do it again, but there goes Sleben to Yeti, so eUnited will start off this round with an advantage.
That's a really great pick there for eUnited, and uh-oh. That really screams of OT. But look at the time. Soniqs have done a decent job of delay. Sleben has done a decent job of delay, so it's not over yet. This could still go to map number 3 right off the cuff. Oh, what is that? A rappel in mezzanine, and it's caught by Easily. Beautiful shot there. What a strange move by Rexen. And now the opportunity and the advantage that was afforded to eUnited by the initial pick has been lost. Very dangerous situation. And that could have been another pick for Easily. He just barely misses out. Mute Jammer keeping that mirror window up. Grixer does get super, though. I believe he was playing upstairs. And now, with your final roamer gone, it's going to be those anchors who really need to shine. Iconic playing by Spiral. Gomfy in circle. And Easily in bathroom as we hit the last 15 seconds. There's a big kill there for Yeti. Easily the anchor in bathroom goes down, as well as Iconic by Spiral. Just Gomfy. He's been fragging out, but I don't know if he's fragging out that much. He has to find 4, and now in a post plant, he'll have to disable the diffuser. It's in piano. There's already attackers all the way in spawn, not wanting to give any chance to Gomfy, who has been having a good map. There goes Kansan with the final kill. eUnited, an amazing rally back, and OT has been grabbed.
Very dominating comeback from eUnited, and it sets us up for 2 more rounds at minimum. All this momentum that had built up by the Soniqs, carrying round after round, and the confidence that comes with it, gone entirely. Both teams breaking 4-2 on their respective attacks. So it doesn't actually work out all that well that the Soniqs will be defending twice, because the attackers have a very large advantage in terms of rounds won. A fraction, that's technically 2/3 of the rounds have been for the attackers. The Soniqs, who dropped lobby twice and won it once, will go right back there. This will be the 4th time this team plays this bomb site, which is very interesting, and it's really been played out very differently every single time. Of course, the very first lobby defense, I don't know if you can really count it, because that was the one where they decided to jump out of windows and they sprung a trap by being too aggressive, and well, it didn't work out. It was a flawless round for eUnited. After that, I think they tightened things up. The problem was that I don't know how much they changed between their successful lobby defense in round 9 versus their unsuccessful defense in round 12. Because the bathroom was pressured pretty quickly. They blew up the bottom of the mirror window, and then they were able to take out the play upstairs so that the Soniqs wouldn't have that ability to come back to the bomb site and maybe stop Alfama in his tracks as he got the diffuser down. And Alfama has been quite impressive so far in terms of what he's brought objective-wise. Consulate, he has been very quiet. If he can step it up and continue to step it up as he has the last 2 rounds or so, then that might be enough for eUnited to be able to pull off this comeback.
We'll see if it's enough. I mean, it certainly has seemed like it is. The coordination has really been stellar on eUnited. I think that's my main standout. The way that they're playing together, and there's almost no jumping the gun. I mean, you'll often see teams see an opportunity, be like, oh, wow, we're starting to bring this back, and then mess it up because they get a little overzealous, maybe peek a little too aggressively. Someone steps out of bounds. you know, the line is broken, the teamwork falls apart. Not so for eUnited. They've been consistent on this comeback. They have been well coordinated on this comeback. And I am hopeful that they'll be able to keep it, you know, going, because to me, that is proving of a more experienced eUnited than we've seen in the past. And honestly, you know, I want both of these teams to keep up with their growth. I've been impressed with eUnited's in particular in this match. Ooh,
eUnited has been impressive across the board, yeah. And I mean, Rexon plays very fast and loose, takes out Iconic, but Sleben is there to shut him down. Once again, this Rexon Iconic duel pops up, both two relatively younger players, and Iconic obviously having less experience than Rexon, but both still not being veterans by any stretch of the imagination. All right, eUnited, I see you. 2 kills from Yeti and Kansan. And the Soniqs will end up with their support players to fend off the rest of eUnited. Now, they will be able to take out what little is left of Kansan, but easily doesn't look the right way. So now Super on Spiral Staircase will try his best, but a huge round from Yeti gives eUnited the lead. They have not led since round 1, and now they find themselves on match point and series point, heading to defense with still 2 rounds left to pull this off.
Absolutely massive round there for eUnited, and I think the final nail in the coffin, or as you like to say, Parker, the penultimate nail in the coffin, that is a huge moral victory. Now, what's going on there is you're looking at, or rather, technically, I guess, a huge victory in morale. Technically, a moral victory is different. Anyway, the point being, when you're already suffering from being in the driver's seat, leading the match, and then losing so many rounds that you get to OT, and then the first round OT, you lose that one as well, that is just, that is a low blow. eUnited are not in a good place right now. Or rather, sorry, eUnited are in a great place. Soniqs are not in a great place right now. Sometimes you forget about OT's swaps. It's been a rough one for the Soniqs. They looked so good for so long, and I thought that would merely continue, but not so thus far. This is interesting. I think they put the shield there. Oh, that's so smart. Oh, Parker, they put the shield like that because the explodey thing on the back of the shield, because it's a Goyo shield, it actually isn't shootable from above. So you can't shoot that Electroclaw from above. The only way to destroy that Electroclaw is with explosive, because the only way to shoot that shield would be to shoot it through the breach. But you can't make the breach because the Electroclaw is under the explodey thing, which is covering the shots from above. Must use a nade, or must use, in this case, an Ash Charge, since Sophia's banned. So that's a really clever Goyo shield. I love that. I've never seen that before. Love to see new things like that rear their head.
Now, please vote in our poll. What was your favorite part of that? Was it the impassioned gameplay analysis from Kickstar, or is constantly referring to it as explodey thing? Please vote below, with 1 being the analysis and 2 being explodey thing. Thank you very much.
It's really clever, though. I mean, that's...
Yes, no, I know. Yeah,
massively smart there from eUnited.
I'm not, you know, Michael, I'm not trying to take that away from you, so... Innovation, though, from eUnited coming in, and will it work out at all? Well, they've managed to totally blunt any momentum that SQ had and wrestle this lead away from them in what has been an absolute slugfest between these teams. 14 rounds now played on Consulate. We needed 11 on Oregon. These have not been particularly close, and this actually proves me wrong, which doesn't prove Veli right, by the way, but it does prove me wrong, which is that it's not going to be a blowout on every map, setting up Villa to be the showdown, because obviously Consulate, no matter what happens, is going to be real close. And that's about as free of a kill as you're going to get. As Sleben just patrolling the bottom of Yellow Stairs, he finds Rexon, and Rexon is not able to do too much. Yellow Stairs control is very much in Soniqs' favor, and now Spiral Stairs as well will go for Gonfi, as this is a garage defense. So you're going to need to translate that first floor pressure on downward. Yeti needs to watch from above, as Super had set himself up for success and then finishes off what had been started by the air jab. So right now, the Soniqs in the driver's seat, and what was an attacker-sided map is now looking to be quite strong, even further in overtime. All right, the defense suffering just as much as they were. There goes Alfama and the Soniqs. Only need 2 more to push us to round 15.
This is amazing. Look at that. A Soniqs attack, super successful. And that is despite not being able to open up the garage yet. They'll finally get the Goyo shield. But boy, it took a long time to do. And that in turn gets the Electro Claws. Now, Kansan will get one, but he's up against literally the garage wall that has just been opened up. Double exothermic. He's now the last defender. Granted, he only needs to stay alive for 20 seconds. He sees an opportunity. That's diffuser down. He has a lot of ammo, but he's not going to be able to find the right targets. Iconic will shut him down. Soniqs bring it to the very final round, 7-7. But the one advantage that eUnited have is they now transition onto the seemingly advantaged attack.
One thing that we talked about when there was the start of that round is the whole, oh, well, we might only have 3 minutes left of this matchup, or we might have 35. And right now, oh my. I mean, eUnited's going to go on to attack, but I've got a gut feeling. I got a gut feeling that the Soniqs are going to win this, and we are going to see Villa. The very first time that we will see something different, though, here is going to be Archives Tellers, speaking of. This was a bomb site that has not been played yet. Every other bomb site on this map has been. Console Office came out once. My speculation was that the pulse ban made it untenable for teams to successfully defend Teller's Archives. This bomb site hinges so much on literal live pinging of where the attackers are coming in. Pulse is by far and away the best operator to do that. Valkyrie can do it in a pinch as well, yet they're not running her, as you can see. In fact, much to your surprise, Valkyrie has actually not seen too much play so far here on Consulate, despite being unbanned.
This is really curious, especially on Archives Tellers with no Pulse, because Pulse is banned. Now, the reason we haven't been seeing this site is because of that Pulse ban. That was a deliberate move there by eUnited, because this is Soniqs' most played defensive site on Consulate. This is where the Soniqs love to go. And so eUnited banned the Pulse to make defending this site very difficult. Now, you would think that the Valkyrie, as she is unbanned, would be brought in to substitute, maybe throw all the cams and Tellers. Why not, right? But no. There's just going to be limited information on Archives. Now, the way that the Soniqs are going to try and compensate for the limited information is by playing this very differently. C4 goes out and does nothing. It looks like it might have been shot midair. So that's a used C4 by Iconic, and he'll fall back to Soda Machine. Overall, a decent start for eUnited. And, you know, while we haven't seen any decisive action just yet, it's still, I don't know, I want to say that this just straight favors eUnited, given the operator lineup, site selection, and already the early scuffles.
I mean, we'll see what Easily does as he plays just above the one bomb site that is going to be largely neglected, as the plant tends to go down on that first floor, which is inside of Tellers, Archives being the bomb site that's on the basement floor. This is only a minute that's been eclipsed so far on this round, though it feels like so much more. And we've had a couple of these rounds so far today where it definitely feels like teams have been playing a lot longer than that. Iconic lost a bit of HP at the very onset of this round when he tossed out a nitro cell that you suspected was shot out of the air. So not too much has been wagered, not too much has been lost, but what a play by Rexon as Slevin does the running man after falling victim to a great shot from Rexon.
That's really good for eUnited. And it looks like they might be able to turn it into more. They've got to be quick, though. The time is going to start dwindling here for the attack. Iconic will eat some damage in a scuffle with somebody else. I believe it was probably an angle being played from above. Yeah, probably Kansan. Unsure. But Iconic is rolling by bathroom, easily there to support him. Meaning there's only 2 people defending the site right now. Both of them with C4s in their pocket. Gompy and Super. Their roles are critical in the outcome of this round. If the C4s land where they ought to, Soniqs might be able to hold out. But without a pulse, and without any actual information, that's going to be difficult to pull off. A trade there that ultimately favors the attack, given that one of the roamers has been snuffed. It's all on Easily now to continue the pressure on the flank. But meanwhile, the plant's going down while the standoff happens. Alfalma is sticking it inside of Tellers, and there's no info for the defense.
Oh
a successful post plant now for eUnited, and this is probably the beginning of the end. Another trade, but once again, this still favors eUnited, given that it is a trade. Gomfi and Super now need to retake onto their own bomb site with only 30 seconds to find 3 frags and disable the diffuser. Both of these players on defense have been playing very well, and so is Soniqs as a whole, but it's not going to matter. Kansan picks up his 3rd kill here. Gomfi has almost no hope. He'll push into Teller's Hall, see the tracers, follow them to an unidentified target, and run out of life. Kansan, the final kill, a 4K for the man, and eUnited will 2-0 Soniqs in this series.
Not exactly the result that the Soniqs want, but for eUnited, this is a massive victory. You have managed to silence a team that a lot of people, maybe even myself included, thought had top 4 potential. But with 2 back-to-back losses, that is very much out of reach for the Soniqs, and they have some considerable work to do to be able to get there. 17 kills for Kansan, by the way, on only his 2nd professional match. There were a lot of people who were skeptical of picking him up because of a history that he had that was maybe not the most admirable. But he is definitely proving himself in terms of his abilities, and anything that might have been said about him is going to slowly fall away, especially if he continues to have games like this. And I will say, I am impressed greatly with what he's brought to this team. There's been a lot of new talent rising through the scene. One of them is Iconic, who's currently playing on the Soniqs, and Kansan can now join that list as well. A huge victory today, Michael, for eUnited, who take it 2-0, and they stun probably a lot of people who would have thought that the Soniqs should have been able to take an easy 2-0 here.
Yeah, certainly. It was a really weird match, but I think that something has been stated here today, and eUnited have proven quite a lot. But that's enough from us. We'll go ahead and toss to the analyst desk for now before we pick things up again later.
Thank you so much, Kixon and Taro. Exceptional casting as always. Have a wonderful evening. And let's go straight to our analysts and break down the highlights of Map 2 Consulate. What a map, gentlemen. A barn burner. Belly, you were like screaming the whole time.
Hello, Belly? I think Belly's still muted, which
Okay, well, Jesse, he was screaming the whole time.
I can vouch for that. He was definitely jumping out of
so
his seat, and I
excited.
was as well. We saw some really crazy kills going from both teams here. Obviously, that's what you get when you have such a barn burner match. This play from Kansan was really big, and I love to see Kansan Yankari picking it up and really pulling a lot of weight for his team, you know? And I think this is a kid that a lot of people doubted, a lot of people criticized when he got brought onto this roster, but he has showed in 2 different play days now, particularly on Consulate, I should mention, that he is a force to be reckoned with. And he had some really highlight plays we also saw from other players. I thought Yeti played particularly well in this matchup. He had some good highlight reel plays as well, and you know, Gomfi and Iconic I thought were really good for the Soniqs as well. That was a big one from Gomfi. I think they lose that round eventually. Yeah, there's Yeti, but man, oh man, what a crazy game this was. It had me on my edge of the seat the whole time.
Yeah, and you know, Jesse, we heard Intero talking a little bit about this, but Kansan really trying to prove himself. You know, he definitely was feeling the pressure, but we were saying both the teams feeling so much pressure now when we were talking about everything that is on the line. And I believe we got Veli back. Veli!
Yes! It happened!
Oh my god!
Yo, I was so happy, and like I couldn't get my mic to work. Like I had to fix stuff. You know, I'm so.
It's actually
Finally!
true. He was screaming like this, folks, for a long time during that map, and then he got quiet. And Jesse and I were like, "What is happening?" He's back. Veli's back with the confetti, whatever the heck that is. Okay, so yes, Veli, we gotta chat about this.
Yes.
What a comeback story, underdog story. You know, eUnited just looked so rough in stage 1, and you know, at stage 2, they made you eat your words, Veli, and myself and Parker included in that. So.
Well, okay, to be completely fair, I have a long history with eUnited. It's really funny, so I like to make fun of them or whatever. And stage 1, let's be honest, they were a meme. They were a joke.
Yes.
We would watch them, not to analyze their gameplay, but to see what the hell they were going to do that day, because it was just going to blow our minds. It's like a parody, right? Stage 2 came along. This is a team that went, you have teams that go undefeated, and you have teams that go defeated. eUnited were one of those teams, right? And now they're just way too good. No,
Yeah.
they're so much better now, right? I'm gonna tell you guys now, though. There's one player I am so happy for. Yes, I'm happy for Yeti, Alfama, and the rest of the boys, but it's the rookie. It's Kansan.
Yeah.
This has been a season of the rookies. You have Iconic, you have MJR, and now Kansan has been having such great games. And to beat the Soniqs, if everyone knows, Kansan is surely happy, especially to beat a team of that caliber. They deserve it all. They deserve it all. Burns, take them out for drinks and steaks right now. Celebrate with the boys.
Yes, eUnited. I can't imagine how they're celebrating right now. We saw their team camera like just for a flash, and like they were going nuts. But Jesse, I want to break down some of the technicalities here. Specifically, the Soniqs roam on defense. We got to talk about the Soniqs. I mean, I'm sure they're pretty upset right now. I mean, that's just a devastating comeback for them. I mean, we heard Kix talking about it a little bit. It's like you do not want to be on that side of things. So talk to me about where they struggled and why they fell short.
For sure. I mean, both teams struggled with their defenses. I thought that was pretty apparent, but for the Soniqs, they really did like to bring those roamers here on Consulate. On their lobby defenses, they like to go for that top floor roam. It all started with Kansan Yankari, of course, on Rappel on the Nomad. He managed to kill both players as they jumped out to try to counter that Nomad charge, but Kansan was ready and got both of them. And then Yeti as well started to frag off, killing those top floor players. The garage holds were really roam focused as well, which is kind of weird, but that's the way that Soniqs chose to go with it. And there was one time where they went for late flanks, which were all caught perfectly by either Kansan or Yeti. And then there was another time where they just started the round off with 4 players outside of the basement, and then slowly they brought some players back. A couple of them got picked off. Most of them didn't really have a lot of impact, and then they didn't have a ton of utility left for when the execute came in. Excuse me. So really, I mean, I thought the counter roam play was great to come in from eUnited, and then the roamers just maybe not having the best of days over on Soniqs.
Yeah.
All right. Well, gentlemen, Yeti is on deck. He is ready for his interview. Yeti, congratulations. How are you feeling?
We love you, Yeti.
I love y'all too. Yo, we're feeling great over here. The vibes are high. The vibes are high.
Aw, yay. I know. That was a hard-fought victory. Really exciting to watch. I got to talk to y'all about, you just look like a completely new team. Talk to me about the roster changes and the playstyle changes that your team has made. Nice hat. Love it. I don't know if it fits your head, but yeah, very nice look there.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, the headset's definitely not helping. But as you look fantastic in that hat, talk to me a little bit about the changes that your team has gone through, not just roster-wise, but the playstyle changes that you've gone through.
We've definitely adopted to a more structured playstyle. And, with the roster changes, we've got some great pickups. We got the world leader, Evan Kansan. And then we got Reflex Richie, who's they're just beasts. They're actually just beasts, and they complete us as a team. And, we got Alfama and Grixer, and the core is pretty strong. And we're just feeling confident as ever. I mean, like you said, it's a new team. We know that, you know that. And we're super confident with the changes we've made.
So talk to me, you guys already have nicknames, and I definitely think chemistry, and I think it really surprised everyone because we didn't know how you all would react to the roster changes. So how have you all become so in sync so quickly?
Honestly, I don't even know. So we have Evan and Rishi and Alfama here in the team house with me, and we've just been kind of chilling, vibing. We've been playing the game. We all like each other, the way the criticism flows and everything's done super professionally, and we're all just really close. And I think it shows in game, and it pays off. We all hype each other up, we all pick up each other when we're down, and we take care of each other.
Aw, okay. Well, I mean, that's awesome. Y'all are definitely vibing, and just such a great comeback story. Definitely stage 1 was a little bit rocky for y'all. So what do you want to say to all the fans out there who have seen how much you've improved, and they're just rooting so hard for y'all?
We do see the support, and we really appreciate it a lot. It means the world to us because all my career, I've been down, towards the bottom, and we haven't got a dub since our match versus TSM in last season's second split. That's a long time. That's a drought. Crops are dry, and we really work hard for this dub. We work hard coming into every week, and the preparation's been great. And like I said, we're really just thankful for our supporters. and our org. eUnited's the fucking
So here's
dope.
the big question. Oh. Beep. That's
Every
okay.
time.
That's okay. Oh my gosh, Yeti.
the
Okay,
second
my
time.
last question for you. My last question for you is going to be, do you think that y'all can be the best in the U.S.? You've certainly made improvements, but can EU be the best? Oh my god.
Oh yeah, we have what it takes.
This
We
interview's
have,
going off the rails.
we have the mechanical skill for sure. The chemistry's great, and the playstyle changes definitely benefited us. We definitely have what it takes. The environment's what any player would want in competing in this league, and the support from the organization and my teammates are unmatched.
All right. Well, I guess that Alfama didn't like the hat, so he stole it from you. And thank you for a fantastic interview. And go enjoy that win. Thank you so much for chatting with us.
Thank you.
Yay. All right. Bye, Yeti. Oh man, he's funny, huh?
He is. He's a good guy. You should see him do the
He
worm.
is absolutely hilarious. And then like you can just see how well they get along. Like Alfama just like runs up and like grabs his hat off of him, and they're just like having a great time. So you know what though? I the last question I was like, okay, do you guys actually think he can be the best in the U.S. division? I was wondering if he was going to hesitate, but he was like, no, like the skills are there. Like we feel really good. I was actually kind of surprised by that answer. Jesse, how did you feel about that?
Oh, I felt really great. I mean, eUnited obviously have that winning mentality now. They seem a lot more positive. They seem a lot happier. I mean, this is the first time we're actually going to talk to them in an interview because it's the first time they've won a match in the NAL, right? So it's just great to see them winning. And really, at least for me, they've stolen my heart. I'm sure they've stolen the heart of a lot of players or a lot of viewers as well. Really likable team, and I'm glad that they're finally finding some success.
Yeah, Veli, how are you feeling after that interview? I mean, like you said, you have a relationship with this team. I know that you talk to them quite a bit, and it's just so exciting to just see them smiling and so excited and feeling this confidence.
You know, at the end of the day, it's always, I mean, let's be honest. Nowadays, it's easy to kick a horse while it's down, right?
Yes.
And, you know, kick someone while they're down. I think it's beat a dead horse. Whatever. It's late in the day. But we all want to see teams be successful. We don't want to see teams have their head down for too long. We want everyone to taste a bit of victory, right? And to see eUnited make a change in such a drastic way, that's special. I mean, you got to give them credit for it. That's beautiful. Now, on the other end, the Soniqs, I don't know what's going on with them, but I need them to get back into shape because this is starting to become weird now. And I don't know what to think about it.
Yeah, it's definitely unfortunate. They have definitely had some flashes of greatness, but this is a very, very hard loss for them. So we're going to have to see how they rebound from it. But a fantastic victory for eUnited. But gentlemen, the action is not over yet. We have a really good matchup actually coming up. I'm excited for this one. OXG versus Disrupt. So do not go anywhere, anybody. We'll have that matchup in a flash. Stick around. We'll be right back.